my God. They found me. I don't know how, but they found me. Run for it, Marty!
Hey YouTube, PhatPastor here. We have a different and an unusual stream for tonight, but I think hopefully you are in for a treat. Tonight also we have Mr. Skip Fussell on with us, Atreides. Say something, Atreides, so I can see if your audio is working.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
All right, we got audio for him. Let me fix my camera. We are going to do something I've never done before. I did get in touch with Neil and get approval for this, so I don't recommend people just doing this without approval. I did message Neil and get approval for what we're going to do tonight. We are going to watch a live stream. We're asking you guys to join the Discord, and you're welcome to come in to the video part or just the audio side of this. Just got a couple of rules that we're going to go by tonight. If it gets out of hand and people start breaking the rules or whatever, I will be forced to cut the stream short. We're, as you'll start to see here in just a moment, I've got a little cryon, whatever it is, on the bottom of the screen here, saying the views and the opinions of other people are not necessarily the views of the host or PhatPastor. Please respect everyone's right to be heard. That means don't be talking over other people. Don't be, like it says, don't talk over one another, please. And we don't have to agree with everybody. We're probably not going to agree with everything that we see. The views and the opinions of the, didn't spell that right, of the host are, let me see that. Let me look at it again. Properties. The views, and let me fix that, and the opinion of theirs.
Yeah, so I was basically saying that if you hear somebody's opinion and
Others.
that they represent themselves, they don't represent uh, the group as a whole.
Yep. They don't represent necessarily. You can say what you want to, but that doesn't necessarily mean that those are mine or Skip's views or PhatPastor's views. So that's going to be scrolling up underneath this. If you want to, Skip, if you want to pull that up and share it, we want to stay a little bit behind them so that we can react and all of that. Also, if you want to comment and you want to be in on the watch party, so to say, or the watch stream, you are welcome to join the live stream chat. Just understand, please, no talking over one another, no disrespecting one another, or we will mute you and boot you out of the stream. We don't do that here very often, but due to the sensitive nature of what we're going to be watching, a potentially sensitive nature of what we're going to be watching, we will be moderating that, and I will ask the channel moderators to watch that close, to watch the chat. I will not have the chat going on the screen tonight for multiple reasons. One, Stream Ninja thing is no longer supported, so I've got to find something else to do that with. But regardless, that's not going to be shown on the screen tonight anyway, but I will be watching the chat in Discord. So, Jack Gallman says hello from Marion, North Carolina. Hello, Jack. Welcome to the channel. Hope that you enjoy what we're about to do tonight, and I hope that everything goes well. I hope we end tonight with more unity in FPV than division.
Okay, we got it up here. I'm gonna go ahead and share it.
This is pretty much what you're going to see tonight as
Here we go.
you have audio for it.
Outlining the design decisions that they made, and they were judged not only on the achievement of their flight in the competition, but also how well they explained the different design considerations and how well they executed on those. And so a lot of the entry points for new pilots are through these tiny drones and TinyWhoops. I know that's really how I got started many years ago, how a lot of us get started. And so I think that's kind of why we're here, to really discuss it, because it is like such an important part of all of FPV. And it's when we're trying to recommend someone to get started, that's what we point them to most of the time.
Yeah. All right, I think I got the sound. Thanks, John.
All right. Yep.
Can you maximize the screen so it doesn't show their chat? The
With TV channel is very cool, and yeah.
Are they having audio issues on their end, or is that on our end?
You'll hear it.
I don't. Still don't hear any audio. I hear some of it like it's picking up through an external speaker.
There we go, guys. So yeah, subscribe to her channel. She's very cool.
So the big question is,
We have audio now.
how did we get from literally singing Kumbaya together?
You hear it?
We can
to
hear it, but
where
I
we
don't
are?
see it. There's no video now.
And certainly
working
something has changed along the way,
There
and
it goes.
that's really what we're here about. And again,
Okay.
with the goal of saying that hopefully the vast majority of us can sing songs together in the future and all enjoy flying our whoops or our drones or whatever it is we like to fly together. So I'm going to put that question, Jesse, to you first. How do you see that we got from this world of all singing Kumbaya together to the TinyWhoop movement?
I mean, I've thought a lot about that, and the short answer is I don't really know. I have a lot of ideas. I kind of wanted to just start by saying that I feel like at this point, the TinyWhoop campaign has moved into sort of two separate issues, and some of those have been confused to me, which I think is a little bit out of line. I think there's the two issues are Jeff's campaign against TinyWhoop and you know, the memes and what I'm going to call bullying and everything he did on the group. And then I feel like this new separate issue came up that has become even a lot more important to me, and that is these 6 testimonials that happened on the TinyWhoop post. And for me, the reason they're separate is no matter what you think or how you think Jeff's acting, those issues, those complaints stand on their own 2 feet and aren't going to be diminished by, like, if you think less or more of Jeff. To me, that doesn't affect the actual testimonials that we saw from Peter, Josh, Jeff, Garrett, Say, and Juan. and there's a couple others peppered in a bunch of the comments. But the answer to your question is something like, TinyWhoop's been around for 10 years now. We're just about to hit our anniversary. I've been in touch with, I've been in touch with many thousands of people over the years, inspired many, many tens or hundreds of thousands to fly, and it's become the meaning of my life. Over that time, Jeff showed up on the scene something like 4 or 5 years ago. And yeah, you showed us singing Kumbaya, and I'm still down to sing Kumbaya, but I don't think Jeff is. And I think what really happened is Jeff can tell that there's times that I really disagree with the way he does business. And part of it is because, the TinyWhoop community feels like a family to me. It always has. And seeing somebody come into that space with sort of traditional business values and treating it like it's a market space has been difficult for me. And this disagreement between our styles of doing business has been in place for a long time. We've had like pretty dramatic differences sometimes, but it hasn't come to the surface because it hasn't been forced to until recently. And I think that's how it is. Relationships evolve in mysterious ways, and I don't understand all the answers to how we got here today. I really wish Jeff, I guess, has the link and can join, right? I wish that Jeff would join us and speak directly about everything that's been going on. Because again, like I say, there's two issues. And I understand that the point of this podcast is to talk about Jeff's TinyWhoop campaign. But I don't want to ignore the testimonials because they are relevant. And some of them are extremely damning. And some of them are extremely twisted. And some of them are true. And the ones that are true, you're going to see me be completely transparent and be held accountable for them in front of your very eyes during this podcast. I'm here to exhibit complete transparency, and I count on the community to hold me to that.
Sorry, I'll have to interrupt a little bit before we give the word to Jace, because I see in the chat a lot of people saying that this is not about Jeff, and basically the point is that, all right, Jeff made all this campaign, he made the TinyWhoop. By the way, Jace is the TinyWhoop administrator, but
moderator.
Yeah, moderator, but a lot of people opt in that group, and they share the stories about you, not very pleasant stories, and there's like a lot of people, and that's what people in the chat saying that this is about people.
Yes, so there's two separate issues. That's exactly my point. Thank you, chat.
And so basically what you're saying, correct me if I'm wrong, is that some of the stories that are shared are twisted. Some of these stories are true, right? But for you, you don't see a pattern, or do you? Like, because why people are not like bashing me, why people are not bashing Joshua Bardwell or Neil? Well, nobody can bash Neil, but, why do you see a pattern?
Sure. Well, I definitely see a pattern of mistakes in my past with regard to how I do business. I was never educated in business management or business growth. You can probably tell TinyWhoop was capable of scaling a lot faster than it was. But you're looking of the 6 testimonials that you're talking about as being a horde or a mass. And there are other people in addition to those 6 that are on the Tiny Truths. I'm mostly just looking at Tiny Truths. To me, that was where it went from Jeff's campaign against TinyWhoop to actual something of substance that I really wanted to respond to, because there's more than jokes, there's more than just simple insults or bullying. There's actual content that demands my attention and response. So yeah, right. I see them as separate. They're obviously related because Jeff worked really hard to spread misinformation about the trademark, bring a bunch of people together in the TinyWhoop group, and then it just started to trickle into some hate. First, AK post some hate, Isaac post some hate, and then people really felt unified by their ability to express themselves in that safe space, according to Jeff's post.
But let's talk about a little bit about AK and the Yeti, since you mentioned them. Do you think there is some truth of what they saying? And if you think there's some truth, how much of the truth is in there?
That's a really that doesn't feel like an introductory question. I can get into it now if you want.
All right, we can go later. Let's give a word to Jace.
Okay.
Jace,
I appreciate that.
How did we get here, Mr. Jace? And you got your full 5 minutes if you need them.
Well, do we have a timer up?
10 minutes. All right.
First and foremost, I mean, I would like to start out by saying I'm a little bit confused that Jesse starts out by saying he doesn't know, and then goes into potentially acknowledging, right, some of these, egregious, accusations. If, and again, I don't actually want to go further and say that they're at this point, not necessarily accusations, but testimonials of people who have unfortunately been mistreated or bullied by him. And, really, if I had to sum it up to just, and again, I don't even think I need the 5 minutes, if I had to sum it up to a very few succinct things, number one, this is not about Jeff. This is about these people. I realize that Jesse would like to make it about him and Jeff because that helps him stand on some form of, a victim platform. But at the end of the day, this is about the people who have spoke up and had the courage to step up and say these things. And we're here again, and I'll probably end it at this point, and we can just move on. We're here because of Jesse's behavior, and because of a long-standing history, a decade of this behavior that unfortunately goes back to the beginning.
So, Jace, correct me if I'm wrong, that in your understanding, because you probably can answer this question very quick. So in all these stories, like AK stories and Yeti FPV stories, since Jesse mentioned them, how much they are true? Are they like 100% or they're like 90? What do you think?
I would honestly say that, first and foremost, I feel like everybody functions from some aspect of their own perspective. But, within those boundaries, truthfully, first and foremost, regardless of perceptions, right, the hurt is 100% true. But that being said, I believe everything that both of those two have, specifically said. These two people who are very close friends of mine, and spent a lot of time, honestly being there for them and talking to them, and the mental health aspect, and the effect that this has had on them is real, and that's not something that I feel should be ignored. Or really, right, or really quantified in a percentage of how much of this is true. Listen, I don't think any of these people would have spoke up if they didn't feel that what they had to say was true and relevant.
Of course,
well,
yeah.
For the most part, I agree with that. And I agree that the feelings that people have are the most important part. And that's why, like I say, I want to completely separate it from Neil's question. The question is, how did Jeff Grabowski and Jesse Perkins go from Kumbaya to this place where this group is being made and these people are aggregated? That's a different question than the testimonials. And I think that's kind of your point, Jace. I'm not going to conflate them. For me to say that because Jeff's acting in a super shitty way, that means less value on something that any one of these people say. That's like false reasoning, and people have been bringing that to me, and I disagree with it, and it's one of the reasons I want to leave with it tonight. It's completely separate. There are two issues, and I know this podcast is meant to talk about TinyWhoop, and I want to bring it to also talk about the 6th testimonial.
Yeah, I think that it's our point to talk about, I don't think specifically TinyWhoop. I think it's more about TinyWhoop representing like all the things behind TinyWhoop, right? It's like, okay, the TinyWhoop exists. What is it behind TinyWhoop that brought the feelings together to get us here? And so let's talk about Jeff for just a little bit, and I'm going to kick this to John, because we've got some feelings about Jeff, about him, his absence here, and just some thoughts about it. And I want to cover that, and then we can move on past talking about Jeff, and we can talk about the rest.
Yes. All right, John.
Oh, John, you're muted.
John, you're muted.
Yeah, for sure. So from our perspective, like, a lot of us are not as entrenched in the TinyWhoop scene as a lot of the people in the chat tonight. And so from an outside perspective, watching all this unfold was very puzzling. It was like, whoa, like Jesse P's like on the Mount Rushmore of FPV, like right next to Bardwell and Charpoo. And then all of a sudden, like, all this stuff is happening, and it seemed very puzzling. And then when we sort of like dived a little bit deeper, a lot of the genesis of a lot of the content and posts and the group was coming from one source that was a rival business owner. And so I keep seeing in the chat, it's not about Jeff, but I mean, if it's a business to business competition, then it to me, it is about Jeff. It's primarily about Jeff. And if you can look at the timeline of customer service or employee relation issues with probably any small business, you're going to find a couple of dozen people that had negative experiences, right? Because like Jesse was saying, he doesn't have a background in business. He started this out of fun. And when you're figuring things out along the way, there's bound to be some mistakes that happen. There's bound to be some payroll issues, some HR issues. What I haven't seen is examples of how TinyWhoop has like screwed over a large segment of the community or got a large piece of people not flying, like maybe some of the other YouTubers that would recommend like sort of garbage gear. To me, like that deserved more of a vilification than what we've seen with Jesse. But like we don't have those direct negative experiences. So as somebody that has been in the TinyWhoop tent, and like I will say, like that first moment walking into TinyWhoop tent at my first IO and seeing Jesse behind the counter and all the lights, like it's one of my top few FPV memories, period. So it was very puzzling to see all of this drama coming up. And when we started thinking about it more, it's like, well, who stands to benefit from making TinyWhoop go from very popular to not popular to let's all think of stories that we have negative experiences either with Jesse directly or with TinyWhoop in general. And, you know, they've been around for 10 years, so a lot of people are going to have some stories. If you ask the same question about race day quads or pyro drone or get FPV, you're going to have a similar amount of people that have had negative experiences. You just don't usually have someone trying to unify everyone together and become like sort of a sounding board saying like, yeah, that is terrible. And some of the stories definitely do sound negative, but I don't really hear Jesse like saying those things didn't happen. He said, you know, those things are learning experiences along the way. So from an outsider's perspective, it is about Jeff. He stands the most to gain. He's actually selling merch that is directly making fun of one person. And like, it kind of reminds me, those of us that are old enough to remember when Sega came out with the Genesis console system, like the first big console war, they were ahead in technology and Nintendo was cool, but their whole marketing was, we're cooler than Nintendo. You can't.
Pastor, I think it started, you know, about Jeff, but it as you know, a funny little campaign, but it's actually went past him, from what I understand.
Yeah.
That's what I see.
Yeah.
It just started to be a little fun campaign or whatever, and then turned into something else.
Yeah.
From what I understand.
Yeah, I agree.
If the goal is to take food off of Jesse's table and put it onto Jeff's, that's just how it seems from an outsider perspective. I'm sure a lot of the people that have been affected are like, no, that's not it at all. But for those of us not in that community, that's what all of the Facebook posts seem like to me anyway.
So I'll just sum it up real quick for John. Why it seems like it's a thing, why it seems like Jeff is apart from us is because, like, Jeff started the group. Jeff has been posting every day for the last month, like these memes, TinyWhoop. And then Jeff's selling t-shirts, TinyWhoop. Then once we started saying, hey, it seems a little weird that maybe you're making money off of it. And then Jeff said, well, I'm going to give it all back to the community. And that was like 2 days ago. So, again, we wanted Jeff on. We invited Jeff to be on. He's here in the chat. He's got the link. We're happy that Jace is here. We're happy that someone's here to represent. But why we wanted Jeff on to start with is because it seems like Jeff is the face of it. I realize Jeff is saying that it's for the community. And, like, he's been really consistent in saying that. But from the outside, it seems like he's got the most to gain. So that's like the short of it, but I really want to move past talking about Jeff as much as we can and like really dive back into it. Jace, what do you got to add to that?
Yeah, I would definitely love to go first on this one. I mean, first and foremost, you know, with all due respect, you know, I do not want to marginalize any of the people, right, that have come together and had the courage to speak on this stuff, you know. But
Yeah.
first and foremost, I will say unequivocally, this is not about Jeff. Okay, he may have had the courage, right, to stand up and use his platform and his business to provide this space for these people to feel safe enough to actually stand up and talk. But let's be completely honest, this is not about Jeff. And for those of you that don't like memes or think that memes are a new thing, let's be honest, for centuries, right, political cartoons have been a way that those, right, who are below everybody else and who could not speak with their own voice can say something that's true, right, and actually be heard without fear
Did
of
any of them
retribution.
do that?
And I will absolutely,
let him talk.
and again, if you'll let me finish, thank you. You know, for those of you that think that Jeff is profiting from this, he has never planned to profit this, you know, from this from the beginning. This has always been, and to be truthfully honest with you, you know, we didn't even know what it was going to become until it all coalesced. And at that point, what we realized is that many different subgroups that have been talking about this in the background for years finally saw a place where they could stand up and be recognized without fear of retribution, without fear of having their comments deleted, without fear of having people that are moderators in other groups silence their voice. And for those of you that actually, you know, think, you know, and I'll actually share my screen right now, I'll actually bring up all of the, you know, profit that is involved currently with the TinyWhoop campaign. I'm just going to share my entire screen. And we're going to share. And I'm just going to downsize this real quick, and let's go ahead and bring up. Hold on, bear with me here.
It's beginning to look like this is really going to go nowhere tonight.
Well, I mean, we'll see.
I'm actually
what
watching.
progress-
I'm actually
Particular
watching
one.
their chat too, and it's about 50-50
Yeah, I'm
back
watching
and forth. They're arguing too. So
I got it, Ivan. Okay, guys, so I'm just going to go ahead and make this bigger. So this right here is a Shopify current report of all of the sales and all the money that's come in from any TinyWhoop merch, or excuse me, TinyWhoop merch. At this point, right, you can see the summary is 13,000, or excuse me, 1,356. I'm sorry, guys. I got to step forward. I don't have my contacts in. But all that being said, right, this is a very small amount when people first and foremost want to talk about profiting or not profiting. Secondly, none of this money is going to end up going back to Lead or Jeff. And at that, you know, point, I'm not sure how anybody could say that he is going to profit from this and is going to, in any way, shape, or form, actually make anything from it.
Yeah,
And-
I'll jump in to say that I think the biggest opportunity for profit for Jeff and all this is market share, right? So it's not TinyWhoop merch. It's don't buy from TinyWhoop anymore because Jesse sucks, and I'm still here to sell stuff. So
Well, again, can I address that real quick as well,
please,
Neil?
yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, first and foremost, all right, anybody that's been to any event in the last several years knows, right, that event was 100% most likely supported by we, okay? I can definitely tell you, and I've taken a look at the financials from 23 and 24, 90% of any profit that Weekly FTV made went immediately back into the community, back into new product lines, or to try to develop and foster innovation with different people in this community. So, I mean, no disrespect for anybody that thinks that Jeff is doing this for the money, you are completely wrong. And if you do not realize that, go to any event that happens in the microdrone community, and you will see this for yourself. So I'm sorry, but I vehemently disagree.
I want to add clear a little bit of drama that happened. So there were rumors that Jeff initially agreed to join the stream, and then when the rumor says that when he learns that Jesse Perkins is going to be here, he bailed out. Because it was all the conversations with me, I can confirm that that didn't happen. I don't know how this rumor showed up. Maybe it's a miscommunication between me, Neil, and John, whatever is that. But I checked the chat with Jeff. I asked him if he wanted to join, and he said no straight up. He's like, I don't want to be there. I forgot his explanations, but basically he said it's not about me, that's about the people, and he didn't feel like he can represent these people in the conversation. And basically the whole crew nominated Jace to be here and represent these people. And well, we thank Jace for that. Neil, do you want to? Yeah, do you want to move? Where do you want to move now?
Well, let's just give Jesse a little like a second, and then we'll move past this.
I almost don't want to say this, but if I'm being completely honest, I actually do agree with Jace. I don't think the reason Jeff is doing all of this is to get rich, or at least not to sell TinyWhoop merch. I think it's a personal thing with Jeff. I think he's offended. I think he's hurt. And I think he really wants to be the TinyWhoop guy really bad. You know, like I said before, I've been around for 10 years, and Facebook groups got 43,000, Reddit's getting 500,000, 500,000 views per month. All of my channels are big, and I'm being accused of affecting. There's these 6 testimonials, but if you put everything together, let's say it's 50. I would even go so far as generous to say, like, what if it's 100 people that are upset with me? AK called me out for driving, I think, 40 people away from the hobby. I'd like to ask AK, how many people do you think I've driven into the hobby? I've dedicated my life to bringing people together, and that's the stance I'm going to continue to take.
Driving 40 people out justifies
Go ahead,
bringing
Jace.
in others. I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt, but I don't see how mistreating and driving out 40 different people justifies how many people you bring in. That's like saying the ends justify the means, and that just doesn't make any sense.
I would say that it doesn't.
It keeps going back to Jeff.
30 or 40
Jeff.
people being driven out. But I don't think we should gloss over Jesse's contribution to the community at large.
No, it's not that I disagree with that. I just don't want grandstanding, right, to negate, excluding that many people from the hobby. And again, I'm not even saying, right, these are not my words. Jesse's saying that is what AK said to him. I do know that it's probably been at least a couple of dozen. But regardless, those are metrics that we probably would have a hard time
Who do you think
in the short period of time we have playing.
Who do you think is the guy that hears the most complaints about Jeff ever since he started pushing this perceived war? Who's the guy that gets his phone blows up every time Jeff pisses someone off? I bet it's me. I bet imagine if I spent 3 weeks. Suppose I didn't spread misinformation like he did about the trademark, but I spent 3 weeks gathering people together in a single group. And then I put in a bunch of extra work and dug deep into the history. I mean, I'm pretty sure you guys just dug back 10 years and dug up Jared and Ben. We're going to hear some real doozies. Jeff's got some real, Jace has some real gotcha moments coming up. But imagine if I was to do that. Imagine if I was to find all of these people and put them in a single group and say, hey, I want to make a safe space for you guys to give your testimonials and say how Jeff screwed you over. Or you had some business deal going with Jeff and it didn't end up working out that you guys worked together. I could do that. Somebody could do that about Bardwell. Bardwell's made a lot of enemies. He's a passionate guy. Somebody could do it about Ciata. You could probably even find
I really don't think
dirt on people. Excuse me just a minute.
Bardwell.
Sorry, buddy. Just give me 1 second. So the point I'm making is I could do that about Jeff. And by the way, there is legitimate content there. When I talk about business differences between us, there's extremely legitimate content, legitimate complaints. That would be so awful. That would be so awful for me to do, for me, for the community, for Jeff, for new people coming into the hobby. And if Jeff had been here since the beginning, I know you've been here a lot longer than Jeff. If Jeff had been here since the beginning, and if Jeff had dedicated his life to bringing people, to aggregating a massive micro-drone community, he would know that is awful for all of us. This is a really sad day in FPV, in micro-drones, in TinyWhoop. It's an awful time because there is a massive division being pushed really hard over some complaints from about 40 people that I want to hold up as legitimate as much as they are. And we're going to talk about the particulars. We have to at some point talk about Peter's complaint. There's some stuff in there that is just not correct. We have to talk about Derek. We have to talk about Jeff had a big long complaint too. But the point is, if Jeff was standing in my shoes after putting a huge amount of effort, passion, and love into creating this community, there's no way he would choose this extremely unclassy way of putting these pieces together to make a point. There's a classy way to do it, and there's what we just saw with TinyWhoop. And I'm not saying I can't understand why he did it. It's okay if that's what you thought was the best move. I don't think that makes anybody evil, but I think it's the wrong way to handle it. And trying to push that to make it something that represents my entire body of work is really inappropriate.
Mr. Jace?
Well, first and foremost, I'm going to keep this brief because I feel like we're wasting a ton of time trying to make this about Jeff versus Jesse. And again, we are marginalizing, right? And even Jesse in his own statement right there, although it's cleverly hidden, is also trying to marginalize those that he has affected and abused in this particular situation. And all of that being said, again, this is not Jeff's idea. This is not something that Jeff wanted to do. This is not even something that I want to do. But at the end of the day, here we are, right? So I think we should move on and let's start focusing on some of the other aspects that we're actually here to talk about.
All
Yes.
right.
You want
I'll
to
take
start?
that.
Yeah, or Neil?
Yeah, well, so I think so in my talks with a few people to try to get background information for this show, it seemed like the first catalyst or the first thing that had people start like raising their eyebrows was the trademark issue. And so I just want to start to discuss there of like, and so I think, and where the trademark issue came out to the majority of the community was the interaction between Jesse and Bardwell, where Bardwell has about a 6-minute clip in one of his live streams where he talked about Jesse reaching out to him and asking him to no longer use the name TinyWhoop for products that were not Jesse's products, and that was advised by his attorneys to try to defend his trademark, and that and then Bardwell was upset by that. That felt like, hey, like this is somewhat silly. In my mind, it's like, hey, I've got a box of Kleenex right here, but this is not actually Kleenex. This is from Hill Country Fair, facial tissue. But like everyone, if I asked you what I'm holding up in my hand, would say that I've got a box of Kleenex, right? And that's because Kleenex is a trademarked product. And if I was to hold up a 65 millimeter drone, regardless of who made it, and I asked everyone on the stream to tell me what I was holding in my hand, they would say I'm holding a TinyWhoop. And so therein lies, I guess, the start of it, and maybe the end of it too, because we can get into like dilution and all of that.
It should be the end of it.
Yeah, but it was the start, right? And so I think it's important to understand the start. And so, yeah, I don't know
So
what we go through. Yeah, go ahead.
I reached out to Bardwell, and the entire transcript is available. I posted it in the TinyWhoop group. Anybody can bring it up and look at exactly how it started, everything in the middle, and how it ended.
Yep.
This is like, I understand that a lot of people are looking at that transcript and seeing like passive aggression there. The stupidest part of this whole transcript is the entire time, from the very first time I sent a message to Josh Bixler, the trademark was expired. Oh, I see you spelled out. The trademark was expired. That's humiliating for me. I cannot believe I let that happen, and I'm so embarrassed I did. Think about what the trademark did for TinyWhoop. When TinyWhoop came out, it was a massive hit in the FPV scene, and actually outside of the FPV scene too. Tons of people start driving into the hobby like crazy, and everybody noticed that the phrase TinyWhoop's getting tossed around. And the people that notice the most are the big retailers that want to call their products TinyWhoop and get that SEO. Securing the trademark for my business is the only reason I was able to go full time on the TinyWhoop project and build the community for the last 10 years. If I hadn't had the trademark, and by the way, very friendly commercial neighbors for the most part, my store wouldn't have been able to support me and now my family for these past 10 years. And it was really important for that to happen. The trademark has sort of already done its job. I am disappointed in myself for lapsing it, like everybody knows. But at this point, I don't think it's as beneficial for these people to call their stuff TinyWhoop, because it's going to kind of drive people to me. It's no longer in Happy Model's best interest to throw the word TinyWhoop on their next binded fly because of, I guess maybe SEO reasons. I feel like I handled the trademark situation for the most part very well. I'm embarrassed about the attitude I took towards a couple of people, particularly Kelvin, the owner of Newbie Drone. I had to speak with
How's it
him.
going, Jim?
There's
Good to see you in the stream.
and there's a new person in charge of their social media. It's not something that's part of their training, and I would end up sending them another message. But for the most part, I'm really proud of how that happened. I'm really grateful that I got the advice to
I don't
get
know,
the
man.
TinyWhoop trademark when I did, and I feel great about all my neighbors.
Just want to say one thing. I mean, if I call this TinyWhoop, that's not me advertising that product. This is me just calling it a term,
Yeah.
not me saying, hey, this is the same product as TinyWhoop, and that's what I'm pushing.
Yeah.
It's just me saying a term.
Yeah. And let's pause it when we talk so that we don't miss part of what he says. It might be important.
Okay.
Anybody uses
Back it up
that
just a little
term
bit, if you will,
as a civilian,
because we
that's
got longer
ridiculous. Out
than what they
how
got.
much that information got pushed. If you look through the memes, you can see them all. They're still alive now. You can see them all. They're still alive to try to police the way anybody uses that term as a pilot, as a civilian. That's ridiculous. And it really bums me out how much that information got pushed. If you look through the memes, you can see them all. They're still alive now. You can see that there's like these weird warnings. There's this picture painted of me as like some hermit crying in the basement, coming out and being a real trademark bitch to all my neighbors. And I can't stand that. There's a lot of brands that are trademarked. We Bleed FPV is trademarked. What do you think is going to happen if one of the stores out there makes a We Bleed FPV product? If I do it tomorrow, I'm going to get a note. I'm going to be contacted, especially if I make Jeff aware of it, because at that point, he's obligated to police it, what they call policing.
So, first and foremost, I feel like we're getting way off topic once again. I know I sound like a broken record there, but let me just say that I don't think anybody in their right mind would fault anybody for either A, establishing a trademark, or two, trying to defend said trademark. I think it's less about, what happened in the past, at least as far as what I've seen. Again, I've been quiet lately and all that stuff, but from what I've seen, reading all the comments, it seems to be like super 50-50
Jeff Bezos.
lukewarm water, right? We could argue this all day long. We all stayed at a Holiday Inn Express last night, right? We can all put on our we're lawyers hats and discuss this. But to me, it's a waste of time. It takes away from what we're really here to do. And again, Jesse actually just kind of covered it for me. He went after Bardwell. He went after Calvin, the owner of Newbie Drone, and didn't even have the trademark when he did it. And to be honest,
That's
to address, they were literally both in the exact same tone and in my opinion, passive aggressive style. And for those of you who couldn't read between the lines on that, listen, that's, on you. But coming back to my point, right, it really doesn't matter. It really, what matters is how Kelvin and how Joshua felt in that situation. And they felt threatened. And
I agree
they
with
definitely felt, as if, this is something coming out of left field that I don't even know why it's happening. So once again, guys, I really wish we would just move on from this, because this
Here's
is
the
not
reason it's
something
still
that
important.
truly even matter.
Here's the reason it really does matter. That group was brought together complaining about me being the trademark bitch. That was the meat of all of the memes that are still on the page right now.
That was not why I was
every single day. And then it transitioned. It grew from that into very legitimate, very real 6 testimonials and a few others in between. And I'm so excited to address them just as you. But the reason we're talking about trademark is because Jeff went to I.O. painting this picture of me as the trademark bitch, as somebody that is going to, he's telling people, pilots literally across the country were informed by Jeff that if you use the trademark, you're going to hear from me. Like, he implied that I have sent out cease and desist letters. I never have. I've never brought or been involved in any legal action. Thank God. It's a nightmare. I don't want to touch that with a 10-foot stick. I don't have the money to touch it. But this picture being painted of me that led to the birth of this group, which is what Neil was bringing up in the first place, was regarding the trademark. And yeah, it's a bummer that lie was spread. And I should have squashed it sooner. But like I said in my little response video, I was really trying to take the high road. Now, I'm happy to let you respond and continue to talk about this. And I'm also more than excited to get to the hurt that you're talking about in the community, Jakes.
Well, I'm going to respond very quickly and just say that, I am very good friends with a lot of people that were at I.O. And none of what you said was true, first and foremost, about people talking about that. There has never been an instant where anybody has said that a pilot is going to be sued.
It's
This
insane.
was all around these two specific incidences. And in my opinion, right, if you're going to do things
Thanks for
like
the
that,
super
you're
chat.
going to have to expect that people are going to form an opinion about it one way or another. And so once
What's
again,
your opinion about it?
Fat whoops for the win.
my honest opinion is exactly what I just said. This is lukewarm 50-50 water, okay? We really
You're
need
right
to
in the
just
middle.
move on to why we're here to do.
Did
I
you have
told
an
you,
opinion
I
about
do
me
not,
enforcing it?
listen, I already told you, I do not fault anybody that wants to try to enforce it. But again, let's be real, Jesse. What happened over the last few months in regards to Kelvin and Josh had nothing to do about enforcement. You didn't even have the trademark at that time.
It
And
was
again,
literally,
and
yeah, I
I will-
thought I did.
I
It
will
was
actually-
about
hold on,
enforcement.
please let me finish, right? If you had a lawyer that was advising you to do this, as you stated yourself, right?
Yes.
Why did this said lawyer tell you that you didn't have this trademark? You know,
When I was,
so
thank you for asking that. I'll answer it. When I got the trademark, it's a way more complex process than I thought. When I got the trademark, that was when I was educated about the trademark. There was no lawyer in the past 6 months perusing Facebook and looking at Josh Bardwell's website saying, oh, hey, Jesse, time to hit up Josh Bardwell. I have not been in contact with lawyers. That's the reason it lapsed. That's the reason I screwed it up. I'm so embarrassed by that, but that's the truth. You're here for the truth. That's the truth. And I'm so sorry.
I feel we've done enough. I feel we've done enough with trademark. Guys,
Yeah,
honestly,
okay.
I don't need to disrespect.
Yeah.
We really need to move on.
That's cool. I'm going to talk for 1 minute on my trademark experience, and then we're going to move on. So, just to add some context, to everybody out there. So, I own in my company 5 or so trademarks, and I had a trademark dispute with one of my competitors. And so I have this trademark called Plants for Texas. We have a plant program that's a tan pot with the flag of Texas. It says Plants for Texas across the top. I had a competitor develop a program called Flowers for Texas. They put it in a tan pot with the Texas flag and wrote Flowers for Texas across the pot. And we were like, okay, this is a problem. This is way too close to what our program is. We're going to go out and try to enforce this. Whenever I went to go enforce that, I found that my trademark was lapsed. And so I contacted an attorney and learned that even if your trademark is lapsed, you still hold the protection if it's still in continuous business. So in my case, I was able to renew the trademark and I did send a cease and desist letter to my competitor to say, hey, this program that you're doing is way too close to my program. I hold this trademark on it. You're going to need to not use this anymore. So that's a little bit about just having it lapsed. But on the next side of that, there was something called dilution, and Jesse's already spoken to that. And so dilution is when you have a trademark, but the trademark becomes unrecognizable as its own thing in the community. So and the drawing line in the government is would any person off the street understand the difference between if you use the word Kleenex, are you meaning Kleenex branded products or are you meaning facial tissue? Or in this scenario, if you're using TinyWhoop, are you meaning a TinyWhoop Jesse Perkins branded product or are you meaning a 65 millimeter ducted drone? And so, and Jesse's already said it himself, that it's diluted, right? And so I think even if Jesse tried to go back to or even just says, if you go look it up, that that it's unrenewable due to dilution. So it's just, it's a diluted trademark at this point. So, okay, that's the end of trademarks. So I appreciate you guys talking on that.
I have one small comment on that too.
Yeah.
I just want to say that in the Facebook groups, when I went to kind of see what was going on, I did see a lot of people that did not have their own issue saying, well, he tried to bully Bardwell with the trademark thing. And when they posted the transcript, Bardwell's like, here's the transcript. I don't care about this. Read whatever we said. So some people were using that as their reason to kind of jump on the bandwagon. And then Bardwell himself was like, I don't care. It's like a nothing burger. So I think it's good to move on that note.
Yeah.
Okay.
Jace, let's give word to Jace, right? And whatever you want to start with, sir.
Hopefully not about trademark.
No. So
No.
just your 3 top questions.
Or 5 or
absolutely.
10,
Yeah.
whatever you want, sir.
Yeah. And so
No, I think
go ahead.
I'd like to honestly, you know, in kind of addressing Jesse's video that he put out recently, one of the things he talked about, and one of the things I honestly, in a lot of my conversations with him, a lot of the public announcements that he makes, I hear this time and time again from him, you know, that he created TinyWhoop. He is what is behind the creation of TinyWhoop, all those sorts of things, right? He is the person whose life's mission is to bring FPV flight to others. And, you know, all kinds of stuff that seems like it puts on a great public persona. But, you know, based on my interactions with him and some of the people that are close to me that have told me lots of stories and who I've been there for, and then more importantly, who I'm about to talk about next, you know, I have over the years begun to, you know, come up with a different picture of how that really all went down. And so as, you know, Ivan and I, you and I talked about, of course, you know, I think the best place to start here is at the beginning. And so to address that, I would like to go back to 2016 and to the creation of TinyWhoop, where we, in all reality, right? See, that's fine. Yeah, well, I'm going back to the LLC and all that type of stuff. So I'm just going to stick with the 2016 aspect of it. Again, we can get into the semantics of, you know, a few months here or there, but let's just stick to that general timeline. We have a man by the name of Jared Crowley, and Jared Crowley, in my opinion, is truthfully the real man, right, behind the ability for TinyWhoop to become business. Jared was originally Jesse's business partner and went through a lot of different things with Jesse, unfortunately. And first and foremost, I just kind of want to stop and say that I have had several interviews with Jared over the last few days. And one of the things I want to make perfectly clear is that Jared left the FPV community after leaving TinyWhoop and has been silent about this for a great many years. And he doesn't want any type of monetary compensation. He's not looking for any legal action. He's not even looking, honestly, to be involved in anything that TinyWhoop is doing. But having said that, talking to him honestly broke my heart. Jared, you know, is a man of integrity. Jared is a man of honesty. And listening to his story, you know, and how he started this business with Jesse only to be long conned out of having any ownership in the company was truly so disheartening to me that even though I have kept, you know, no communication with Jesse for, oh goodness, since probably about February, due to our own interactions and due to things that he has done to various friends of mine in this community, that story from Jared honestly kind of even tipped it further over the balance and kind of got me to the point where, you know, it really kind of sold it and drove it home for me. And basically, you know, there's so many things with Jared's story that we could honestly have a 6-part docu-series, right? Having one be 4 hours long. And so I'd like to try to cliff notes this as much as possible. But basically, Jared and Jesse started this company together. The original agreement was a 50-50 ownership. Somewhere in the signing of those papers and the actual, just let me finish if you don't mind. Again, this is, you know, this is not my story, right? This is not something that I have made up. So let me finish, please. So somewhere in the signing of the original documents that were originally lost, and then a second set of documents that were signed, it kind of changed from 50-50 to 70-30. Now, at that point is about the point where Jared and Jesse had their first blowout. And it, you know, a lot of people can ask a lot of different questions, but Jared believing in TinyWhoop, believing in what they were going to try to do together, and actually having something, you know, be his job that he loved doing, kind of drove him to push forward. It was kind of at that point that I would say that they moved along a little bit, right? Again, we can get into the weeds of all kinds of details. And I will also say right now that every single DM and every single document and everything that I have, regardless of whether or not I have to pull it up on the spot right now to back myself up, I will release after this is all said and done. And so if anybody wants to take the time to read all these personal accounts, all these DMs, they're more than welcome to do so, right? I am not here. This is not a court of law. This is a court of public opinion, if you will. So back to what I was saying. At that time, pushing forward in their business relationship, Ben Shepard came into the mix. And Jesse had brought Jared into a coffee meeting, as they often had together. And Jesse had explained to him how Ben was going to be coming on as a owner as well. and that both of them needed to give up 10% of their ownership in order to make sure that Ben had, an ownership stake, which I guess, if my math is correct, would have made it 60-20-20 at that point. And although Jared wasn't really happy about that, and at this point, and I will point this out, Jared never signed any other papers, of course, giving up any ownership of the company in regards to Ben's situation. But that kind of got, I guess, moved past or tabled. But moving forward to 2019, when Jared actually had some heart trouble and decided that, working a full-time job on the other side, supporting his family and his children, and also working, countless hours at TinyWhoop, he had decided that he, for his own health reasons, needed to leave TinyWhoop. He, honestly, was an amazing guy to try to train a replacement, try to do all these different things. But in that vein, kind of didn't get anywhere with that. And so at that point, he then contacted his wife's cousin, who at that time, or at least at one time, was their intellectual property lawyer, and tried to kind of just gauge, right, what might be the buyout value, right? Is he going to stay on as a silent partner? What exactly, right? How is this going to go, if you will? It was to Jared's horror that he found out at that particular point that neither of the documents that Jared signed that pertained to any type of ownership actually got filed with the Secretary of State of Colorado. It was actually Jesse's name alone on these documents, giving him 100% ownership of the company. Now, a lot of people can infer a lot of different things about this, but the one thing I will say is that, in my opinion, Jared did not stay quiet for this many years and leave the hobby and only come back now to share his story simply because he twisted his evil mustache or had some agenda or anything to gain from this. He saw the TinyWhoop movement and saw all of these people who were out here feeling like they had a safe place to talk, and decided that he would share his story as well. And to be truthfully honest with you, again, I'm going to put this all out anyway, but I do have the filings, to the Secretary of State of Colorado that proves that Jesse filed nothing other than anything in his name. I also do have, obviously, some pictures from the Loveland Herald article where Ben and Jesse and Jared are listed as owners of the company. So, honestly, one of the most poignant things, and again, I could get into the weeds all day long with this. We could do a whole podcast about Jared.
I think we're
but I think that would do a disservice, Absolutely. So, bottom line here is that this is what I had heard from my opinion, really real business owner and kind of the man behind the starting of.
All right, thanks for that, Jace. Jesse, what you got?
So Jace is the one that's behind the TinyWhoop.
When the TinyWhoop business started, Jared was a huge help. Jared's biggest contribution by far was the motors. He had already found Chowley, the motor source, and pretty much this is the brushed motor days. Added that to our arsenal. We had his contacts and brought him in. We talked about ownership a lot. It was never formalized. All of the documents that him and I ever did together, I'm proud to say, were submitted. Sounds like you do have that, Jace. And since then, over the years, Jared and I have been friends. He's come to the invitational events at TinyWhoop. He helped me get a new phone because he works at Verizon. Jared and I are on fine terms. I didn't get a hold of him today because I heard you guys had dug him up. But when Jared left, he was doing, I think, a couple nights a week, a couple of hours that he would come in, and he had a desk and would sit at his computer and was there for a long time. Ben was also there at that time too. Ben was the highest paid employee in TinyWhoop history, making $1,000 a week. Still more than I've ever taken from the business. And when he left, he was given. We had a meeting at 6 months before he left where we said, look, TinyWhoop finances can't afford you. We're going down. Then 3 months before he left, same thing. We had a big meeting and looked at all of it, and we were like, look, at the end of this 1 year, we talked about it's going to be over. And then 1 month before, same discussion. But nevertheless, when Ben left, he was really heartbroken, upset, because I think he had spent some of his savings while he was living off of our high wages. The ownership discussion, yes, it's listed in the Loveland Reporter Herald that these guys are owners, and that's how we always talked about it. none of that was formalized. You know, none of those guys ever wanted to come back and see any of that come to life. And both of them wanted separation, and I was fine with that. I actually took a huge hit. You know, Ben Shepherd, he was the TinyWhoop musician. You guys remember all the early TinyWhoop music is all a cappella music. That's all Ben Shepherd. That all changed when he left. In fact, the entire content output changed, and it was really hard to see that happen. In the meantime, I had spent that 1 year. Jared's taking, I think, I can't remember the amount, but he was getting paid. I want to say, I don't want to speculate. Jared, if you're in the chat, let us know. I bet you're here. But
if Jared's in the chat, I hope he refutes many of those lies that you literally just said. Because you're not friends.
I mean, I just want to say
yes,
briefly, like, we're talking about, you know, business discussions or like potential ownership things, and like while that may matter to, you know, the person that's being discussed, I don't think that's what the community is mostly tuning in to hear about.
It's
the
about
misfortunes of like a single.
Absolutely. Thank you, Jesse. No, thank you, Jesse. It goes to a pattern. It goes to a pattern of behavior and misuse that literally started at the beginning. And again, you know, Jesse can say he does this all the time. He can deflect. He can say, "I have no idea what's going on." Oh, he and I are friends. They are not friends. Him and Ben Shepherd are not friends. And again, it's kind of egregious for him to kind of play it off as if, you know, Jared was nothing but an employee to him.
Let's give Jesse back the floor.
Again, I will definitely put this all out after this is done.
thank you. What am I responding to right now?
I mean,
We
just,
can move on.
yeah, any more comments you have about the beginning of TinyWhoop or the ownership, or we can move on to the next?
Just to address, you know, the address.
There was never any documents filed that gave anybody ownership, just like Jay said. None of that was formalized. We all talked about it. We had all these daydreams. Those guys dipped. I don't know what else to say.
All right. As far as I understand, JC says that's all lie, right?
That's 100% a lie. Again, I spent hours with this particular gentleman, and once again, you know, he left this hobby because of his trauma. I would
No, I
definitely
flew
call
with
trauma
him
at this point.
like 2 years after I flew with him at like mini quads.
Listen, I'm not going to get into semantics with you. These are not my words.
Okay.
These are not things that I made up. So again,
It's okay.
why would he make this up? Why would he come back 6 years later, right, and bring this out of the blue? It's not because it's fun for him. Truthfully, I applaud Jared for having the courage to actually step out and say, these are the things that happened at the beginning. And one of the things I think that was most pertinent to me, if I can just finish this one last thought, it was one thing he said to me, which is, he said, you know, we all went to high school together. We were all friends, but Ben was his best friend. And if he could do this to me, a guy that went to high school with him, and he could do it to somebody that he called himself his best friend, who wouldn't do this to?
Yeah, I mean, we're getting a lot of comments in the chat about like it's just a lot of secondhand stories. I mean, there's a long list of
I don't think
people.
Jared's story is secondhand.
I mean, he's not here and he's not speaking for himself. There's a lot of people that could go back and say, I wish I woulda, shoulda, coulda, that were at the beginning of certain things. This guy that sold his 10% share in Apple for $800, didn't think it was going anywhere. We've all seen the stories on the Social Network movie about the beginnings of Facebook. Maybe some things happened there that left a lot of people with hurt feelings, and there was some lawsuits involved. But I'm not boycotting using Facebook over it, and so I'm just...
Yeah, I created TinyWhoop way before Jared or Ben were ever involved. Way before the formation of the business. I mean, look at there's TinyWhoop videos on the Jesse P. FPD YouTube channel, which is almost long and lost. But also plenty on the original, on the TinyWhoop channel, all came out way before my mentor built the business for me, and I brought these guys over to help.
Honestly, I just want to say that I feel like we're marginalizing, you know, what happened to Jared at this point, and we're trying to rationalize it. And I realize, you know, that that's an easy thing to do. But once again, you know, Jared stepped up to share his story, and I applaud him for that, and I believe every single thing he said. And so, and you can try to marginalize it, and you could try to say that, you know, this could happen in this particular instance, but once again, I am looking to establish a pattern of behavior that literally started at the beginning. And I'm sorry, but lying and saying you're still friends, or lying and saying, you know, anything to that sort is simply just not true. And once again,
We are still
when it's
friends.
all said and done, I'm definitely going to be putting this out, and it will all be shared, the DMs, every single bit of it. So perfectly happy to move on to the next topic.
Jace, I have a quick question to you.
Sure.
So I see in the comments a few people said that this is pointless and JC take way too much control of this. Do you agree? Do you need more control, or are we good?
I do think Jesse is doing what Jesse normally does, which is trying to control the narrative, but again, we spent a little bit too much time on the trademark thing. I get it, but truthfully, I think I've shared Jared's story. I feel like Jesse has done what Jesse normally does, which is essentially said, I have no idea, none of this is true. But once again, when this is all said and done, we will make sure that all of the witness testimonial, right, again, so we don't get hearsay games or anything like that, gets put out there for everybody to see.
All right, so you don't feel like we're giving JC too much control, because we're trying to be as neutral as possible, right? Maybe not
No,
Johnny Five.
I totally get it. No disrespect, Johnny Five, but I don't disagree with Ivan on that one. But
okay, so Jared's here in the chat. Jared's here in the chat. He says, we discussed 50-50. Then after I put in 5 figures, I was promised 70-30. The paperwork for 70-30 was never filed. That was the deal. I was surprised to find out it never was. He was surprised to find out that the paperwork was never filed. So that's what Jared's got to say right here in the chat.
There was no paperwork
and that doesn't sound
filed
to me
for
like a friend.
70-30.
Hang on.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Jared, are we friends? Yeah, so I don't remember 50-50, Jared. I'm being completely honest. I don't remember 70-30. I remember discussing ownership, but it was completely different percentages. I remember it changed when we wanted to bring Ben on board. And I remember that you guys both left very early when there was so much left business building to do. And it would not be appropriate. Like, I guess, Jared, what would you like from the situation now? Would be like a great place to start.
Hold on. Are you admitting that what everything I just said was true? Is that where we're going with this?
No, but hang on, Jesse. You said paperwork was never filed, right? I mean,
there was no, absolutely not.
Right.
It was never written on. It was never a part of a meeting between us at all. But these discussions happened about sharing ownership for sure.
All right.
Yeah.
We'll
see.
I don't know what to say. Both Ben and Jared left the business before any of that happened, and it sucked.
I mean,
it was really hard. I didn't want them to leave.
So I think, guys, we're getting into the point where basically Jesse says one thing, Jay says another thing, and they're contradicting each other.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Ivan, this is not Jace saying any of this. I want to be perfectly clear, okay? This is Jared saying this.
Jared, yeah.
This is the original business partner of Jesse saying
this.
Okay.
And basically there are two contradictory facts, and I guess everyone who's watching it has to decide himself who he believes, maybe also based on the documents and the screenshots that Jay's gonna post under this video in the comments or something like this, right? But we cannot go back and forth like this, because it's just gonna take.
I agree.
Right. So let's move on. Everyone's good to move on. Jay, so we're gonna give you a word for your next one, or whatever you want to do. We just give a word to you.
I mean, I assume the next thing topic of discussion is, why Jesse is now removed from 8 of the national class hoop races. 8? Yeah, it's up to 8 now. It's getting nutty.
8?
Yeah,
I would definitely list
5.
8.
Like, I mean,
well, believe it or not, I apologize. Yeah, I should have edited that to Ivan today, but the number went up as things started to kind of pile in here. The original 5 were Whooptopia, Northeast Whoop Championships, the Air Force Museum race, and the regional and national finals for UDL. What I found out, right? That's 5. Well, I guess if you want to call both of Isaac's race, fine, whatever. We're getting into semantics here. But
I mean,
we also brought in today. I said 2 different ones: the regional and then the national finals for UDL.
Oh,
anyway.
Okay, sorry.
Yes, so that's 5. But now we have 3 more, which I kind of knew about, but really really wasn't thinking about over the last 24 hours. As you can imagine, things are kind of nutty. But we now have iGow, Tyrants Pro Whooper, and the Weebly Sport Series. So that is a total of 8 national level events that Jesse is no longer welcome.
I didn't even know about most.
How do we deal with that?
Yeah,
You're going to now tell me that you didn't know about most of those. Know that they exist, or know that you weren't welcome at them?
I know that they all exist, Jace. I had no idea that I wasn't welcome at the museum race. That's totally news to me. I'm happy to ask Noah about that, or whoever's in charge this year. I had no idea. I would have think he would have told me, but maybe not. Whooptopia, I found out 2 days ago. This is the 4th time I've been kicked out of Whooptopia by AK, even though I've participated in the last 6 years. He's kicked me out this time of year every what is this? Every summer, and then he ends up coming back every winter. I don't know how to respond to that. Why am I kicked out?
No, let's start there. Let's start
Sure.
at Utopia. Why do you think that you've been kicked out of that event 4 times and now the 4th time is permanent?
AK hates me. This guy is furious. 2 days ago, he spent hours texting just curses at me, demanding that I respond. But after the last Whooptopia, I asked him how he thinks I did, and he was like, nothing but professional. You were perfectly professional. We have no complaints. I brought up the issue with you, Jace, when you walked off the stage, and you said, I'm watching it back now. I found the spot with Jace getting upset. My take on it, zero ill will. It just happened. I don't think it's a big deal. But yeah, AK.
So you apologized to me for that, but now you're going to take that back and take no responsibility for your behavior.
I still apologize for it. I know, because like you said, it's how it made you feel.
I feel
So
like
for everyone who doesn't know,
I don't
what
want to
happened,
discuss.
yeah. So for everyone that doesn't,
really don't.
yeah. So for everyone that doesn't know what happened at Whooptopia, or maybe that you were asked to leave at Whooptopia, Jesse, you just want to comment on what happened at Whooptopias and why you were asked to leave them, just so that I can understand, because I've never been to Whooptopia.
Well,
I didn't know about any of it.
Nothing happened that led to me getting kicked out at Whooptopia. When I left Whooptopia this last year, because I had already been through getting kicked. What? Okay.
We're going to give you a word, Jace. No worries.
Yeah.
Let's hear the story.
Nothing happened at Whooptopia that got me kicked out, and I've got this thing right here from AK, who followed up and said, on behalf of the entire team, I extend my deepest gratitude for your generous support, etc., etc. You know, the thing that Jace is referring to is, while we were co-commentating together, Jace was referring to a friend of mine who had made a mistake and accidentally qualified too high, and I thought that was sensitive information. So my intention at that point was to not name the pilot who had accidentally sandbagged their way, because sandbagging is disgraceful. So when Jace kept saying the person's name, I turned to him and I said something rude. I was like, Jace, wake up. You know, I think that was the thing I said, right, Jace? But that had nothing to do with me getting kicked out of Whooptopia. Why am I kicked out of Whooptopia? I honestly don't know. Would you guys like to hear AK's list of 7 things? Or whatever?
Can you clarify one thing, Jesse? I think you mentioned that you were asked to not participate for 4 years or 6 years, but you did participate. Can you clarify that part?
I mean, AK's a firecracker. Everybody in Arizona knows it. When in the summer, AK has always been on Jeff's team hardcore. He knows that there's disagreements between me and Jeff about the way we have handled our business. So AK, I'm glad you're here. Thank you.
Wait, so he's been banned 4 times? So
yeah,
every year he's unbanned?
That's correct. Every year I'm unbanned. I got a feeling I won't be unbanned this year, but I'm not working it out. But I went back.
Audio's getting jacked up a little bit.
That's why whatever, that particular story, or just...
Yeah, I mean,
it's better now.
First, again, I don't want to get into the weeds. Again, we will release all this stuff afterwards. If you guys want to take the time to go through several years of laundry lists and bargaining and requests on AK's part, and then having Jesse be manipulative and passive aggressive towards him and getting banned from the event, that's fine. But I will definitely just point this out, that in no way, shape, or form did anything that happened between Jesse and I have anything to do with him being not allowed at Wootopia for the 4th time. And so he is correct. Jesse is correct in that instance. It was nothing that happened at the event this year that caused that. That would be the first time. The previous 3 years, it was definitely his behavior at the event that caused it. But 4th time, it was something that happened after the fact, him and AK, and that's something that AK can speak to in the chat himself. Like,
I don't know what that is. So, AK, if you're in the chat, tell us.
AK
again, that seems to be.
Yeah, so sorry. If we want to go there, like I want Jace to lead this, but if we want to go there, AK send me a list to email shitpilotlive@gmail.com that we can go to if we have time, or if Jace thinks that what he needs to do. Right, because kind of like the Jesse, we gotta give Jesse a word because he's a defendant, right? Jace is whatever the prosecutor, right? So we kind of whatever.
Yeah, and,
right.
Clarification on like if like we ban someone from like our home field or like from Night Spot, we wouldn't change our mind the next month and be like, okay, come back, and then never you're banned again. Like, so like why did that keep happening? Why did they keep asking you to come back after you were banned? Yeah,
yes, please.
I would love to answer that because I've spoken to AK and he's actually said this because I asked him this exact same question. And what he said is that 2 things. First and foremost, Jesse constantly manipulated him. Even though AK had him blocked in at least 2 or 3 of these instances of him being, not allowed at the event, AK would say to me, Jesse would continue to hound him, and eventually they would have a conversation, and he would manipulate AK, and he would tell AK, listen, this is what's best for the community, this is what's best for both of us, and AK would relent. And most likely
reached out to me every time.
Again, people in the chat are saying that I need to not interrupt you, so I'm going to just say I think we should both stop interrupting each other from now on.
Pardon me.
If you allow me to continue, okay?
Go for it.
So at that particular point, right, you have AK saying that, I have laundry listed him, I have done all these different things, barking with him, but Jesse then comes back and says, this is what's best for the community, this is what's best for the event, and I can, from my own perspective, right, because I had to basically deal with that for 2 years in a row at Northeast Whoop Championships, where he was on, essentially, on the cusp of getting banned, and that is the same kind of things that he would say to me, and by he, I mean Jesse. And so I applaud AK, honestly, for finally coming to a point where he has made a decision and is going to stick with it. And let's be honest, guys, right? Like, you can't just sit there and say, I have no idea why this is happening and pretend as if you're the victim when you have literally been kicked out of an event 4 times in a row, 4 years.
So can we, because, Jace, I'm sorry, I'll interrupt you. It's not Jace interrupting you. I interrupt you because what we hear is...
You're allowed.
Yeah, thank you. Because what we hear, and I see some people in the chat probably agree with me, that what we hear is that, Jesse manipulated AK, but what people want to hear is actual facts, like Jesse hit a dog, like kicked a dog, right? I don't know. Or Jesse, I don't know, called someone N-word. I don't know. It's like, right? The facts of what happened. Why he was
I believe
banned,
AK
right?
has... Listen, like I said, this last year is something that happened between Jesse and AK after the event was over, and I'm sure AK can speak to that if he'd like to. I'm not going to speak for AK.
It would mean so much for you to know what that is.
Yeah,
there's lots of lists.
Yeah, Jesse, so then do you mind if I read the email?
It's on Pam Bondi's desk.
Of course not.
Or Jace, you want to move somewhere else, right?
I mean, we still have a bunch of other things to cover.
Well, I think we've got.
If we want to get into the weeds, right? We have to. Correct.
I mean, I feel like we're so deep in the weeds, we're like trying to pull it back.
The audio is pretty low again, I think.
Yeah, we cannot be too generic, right? We want to understand maybe a little bit part of like what Jesse allegedly did, right? At least partially. If someone says,
read it already.
Jesse manipulated, we want to hear what happened.
Well, I can speak to some of that.
I think we can get that all out.
I want to talk.
Okay, go, Jay.
So, thank you very much. I have my own understanding of why I'm kicked out of these events. You know, obviously, Isaac has a huge problem with me. If you want me to go into that, I absolutely can. We had a business deal worked out where we were going to do the nice. We had a business deal worked out where we were gonna do a locking shaft motor cooperation together. Here's what happened. I'm talking to VCI, right? Vulcan Innovations, and I'm like, hey, Mike, can I lock down exclusivity on the locking shaft? Yes. 2 weeks later, he also gave exclusivity on the locking shaft to Isaac. Mike's gonna have, you know, confirm all these details. So word got back to me the same day, and I was like, hey, Mike, why are you telling someone else they have exclusivity? He was like, Jesse, I've made a huge mistake. I'm so sorry. You have exclusivity, and I need to go to Isaac and figure out what to do. After a whole bunch of tears on the phone, I agreed to share exclusivity on the condition that we could cooperate together. But Isaac wanted to compete. He wanted to make a competing motor. And I told him that's just not a responsible business decision for me to share locking shaft exclusivity. That was when Isaac blocked me, never came back. Like I've said before, Isaac, I'll do anything to talk to you. And I'll do it in front of everybody. I'll do it with you and all your friends. You can submit the transcripts and the recording to the entire community and say, hey, was I manipulated or was this just reasoning? You can let the community decide. Is Jesse the manipulative mastermind con man, or did he just talk about reasoning with me with regard to these business plans? I'm really sorry it didn't work out. I'm really bummed that you took it personally. We were good friends. We were close. We worked on so many projects together. We're supposed to be friends, Isaac. I want to be your friend. I don't care if you unban me or whatever from these 2 events that I just found out I was banned from. What I want is for you to open a door. There's no way we're going to build these bridges while the door is closed in my face like this. That's the story of Isaac's, the story of, you know, behind Isaac's testimonial complaint. There's obviously more to it because this thing happened later where I made some motors that were a different color like I had done 4 other times. That's another story, but again, we're trying to dodge the weeds. I want to address what I think is happening between all of these events and me getting banned, because I've been a prominent figure at almost all of them. I've commentated the Air Force race for years. I've commentated Blooptopia for twice as many years. And I even did commentary at the first UWL back then, championships. It was actually a regional championships. And here's what I think is going on. Jeff, you know, we all know at this point, Jeff has a huge problem with me. He's decided to deal with it in his Jeff way. He got
May I say one thing to that?
Excuse.
Let him finish.
Just
and then we'll give you
make
some
a note.
time to talk.
Yeah, you can make a note. Jeff, you know, he got really upset with me because of a text message I sent Nightwing that led to me getting banned. And Jace was on that call, and so was AK. These guys laid into me for 90 minutes because I sent a text message to Peter saying, when you're helping, after everything you know about how he's treated, helping Weebleed FPV, and I really regret this language. I wish I never would have said it. I wish I would have worded it very differently. But I said to Peter, when you're after what you know about how he has treated my family, my business, my projects, helping him with his projects feels like a fuck you to me. And that was a turning point for Peter, and it was the moment I got kicked out of Weebleed Northeast Whoop Champs. In addition, so we've got AK, Isaac, Peter, Jace, you know, you're an admin at an event too. All these guys have gotten together, and they're really the start of this hate train against me. They do not want me in a position of power. They don't want, and they know that it helps me to be at these events. So regardless of whether they love my commentary or not, which according to all of them they do, they decided to ban me. And yeah, it's about...
One note, I saw in the chat, Custom FPV says, to reiterate, Jesse is welcome at the museum race to participate and sponsor. They just chosen a different announcing venue, so he's not banned from that one. I don't know if that was on the list or not, but just to clarify that.
Thank God. I'll be there.
Jace, your word.
Yeah, I mean, first and foremost, what Jesse said about thing with Peter was accurate. But that, and I do want to say once again, I realize Jesse wants to make this about Jeff as much as humanly possible, but that was my decision this year, not Jeff's. And it did come from that text message. And that was not just a one-off or an isolated incident. This came from a long-standing history of Jesse poisoning wells, talking behind our back, saying these sorts of things to other people. And so he wants to sit up here and act as if he's the victim here. But again, he and I had a conversation, and he knows this before Whooptopia this year, where I kind of said to him, look, you don't have to like me. I don't have to like you. TinyWhoop doesn't have to like me.
Release the Epstein files.
What we can at least do is respect each other and work together, and then we can be at each other's events, and these things aren't a problem. Jesse promised to me that that was what was going to happen. And then, honestly, there were several other reports, but again, the DM, the screenshot was from Peters, and obviously that was the turning point, the straw, if you will. And that proved to me that he was not being truthful for me or with me when he told me those things, and continued to lie. And that, truthfully, was the end of it for me. So don't blame this on Jeff, Jesse. You need to blame this on your own behavior. And I'm sorry, but like, not all of these events have just gotten together because they think it's fun to not allow you here. You really need to recognize and own that this is because of your own behavior. This is not because everybody else just wants to put you down.
Does anybody out there doubt whether help, at this point, the fact that helping Weebly with projects against TinyWhoop, how does that not
The snozberries taste like snozberries.
This guy's leaking products I haven't released. He's making AI pictures of me in my underwear to post on Facebook, showing me cowering in the forest, crying, asking myself if I'm a fraud. Yes, working with this guy can easily be justified to be seen as a fuck you against TinyWhoop. I don't think that's inappropriate, especially nowadays.
Jace, I also wanted to ask you, because Jesse mentioned Isaac, Yeti FPV, and the motors.
Absolutely.
Do you want to address this story, or you think it's not important? Like, we can move on, right?
Isaac's story is incredibly important, but I do want to caution us, right, that we need to obviously try to stay on topic so that we can get through. Obviously, we only have one more major topic to cover. I feel like we did kind of cliff notes, the whole.
We haven't talked about any of the testimonials.
Yeah,
exactly. No, that's why. Absolutely, I agree 100%. But I don't want to skip past Isaac. What happened to Isaac was real. And again, the DMs will come out from all of this. You guys can make up your own mind if you'd like. But Isaac, once again, did not make all of this up. Jesse loves to play that. I have no idea what happened. I was just.
I know exactly what happened with Isaac.
And so Isaac told me exactly what happened. And Isaac is in the chat. And Isaac's also, if anybody hasn't met Isaac, you 100% know that Isaac has zero problems telling the world about what happened. And it's very true. And that type of, oh goodness, I don't even know what the right word for it is. But Isaac is very hurt by this whole situation and definitely does not want to talk to Jesse. He's made it perfectly clear. He's had Jesse blocked for a very long time. Yet Jesse continues to try to bully him, even to the tune of sending Isaac weird playing cards in the mail, which honestly, I don't even know where to begin with that. But I think Isaac has made it perfectly clear, Jesse, that he does not want to interact with you. And I, for one, understand why. So again, once these DMs get released after all of this, and again, Isaac will tell you himself. He's probably in the chat now and also willing to share any of his stories.
He won't tell me anything himself. Isaac's not willing to face me again on any terms, and I send out the invitation again. I would love to speak with Isaac here on the PhatPastor channel, on his own channel, on the Weebly channel. Doors open under any terms, any support you want, Isaac. Really miss you.
Whoa, what'd I do?
Jesse, let me attack you here a little bit. So why do you think Isaac and a lot of, I don't know how, a lot or not, but let's say a lot of other people just don't want to deal with you anymore? Because I think on average person life, that's not an often scenario.
Yeah, there's like 6 people.
Like why Isaac? And like, it was actually very hard to find someone who wants to talk to you even on live stream, right? Basically,
the only one that hasn't blocked him.
Yes, and so why do you think that's happened? Like, do you think it's a pattern with you, or is a pattern with people around you?
I mean, in the case of Isaac, we tried to have a business partnership. It didn't work out. He was looking at that as his. Let me try to answer more directly. I've been accused of manipulation over and over. I'm a manipulative con man, according to Peter, right? None of the people that are holding those claims and coming at me in that way are willing to talk to me. From my perspective,
how do you blame them?
Because I'm willing to communicate on absolutely any terms with full transparency. I call into question: is it manipulation or reason? Is it just reasoning? I'm going to do it. I'm willing to do it in front of everybody, in front of anybody, in front of my community that supports me and supports my family and my son. I'm here. The one thing that these people have in common is that they were all manipulated, supposedly, and they're not willing to communicate at all, even with all the protections in the world on absolutely any terms. Now, listen, there's a couple. I want to give one more answer to this question because I feel like this is the truth. The reason these people, including Jeff Grabowski, won't come to me and talk to me, it's the same reason this other guy who was a part of my volunteer team for the TinyWhoop Open also ghosted me and became a true enemy. He made a mistake on my team, and I called it out really hard. Called it out extremely hard to the point where I gave him no way out, no way to view the situation in a way that is better. I mentioned this to you, Jason, on our call in January. I did this to Jeff too, particularly with a few ways that he's mistreated the community I brought together. I explained it to Jeff. I was like, here's the fact, here's what you said, here's what you did, here's the entire situation. I can't find another way to look at this that justifies the behavior. And I pigeonhole. I had this habit out of my own insecurity of finding some solid ground to stand on and then pigeonholing the person I'm talking to the point where there's literally no way out. And, this is like the personal growth that I am willing to talk about, that's obviously inappropriate. And that's why coming into this call, all I want to do, like we're coming into this podcast with the hope that we're actually going to find unity. This is Mr. Nice's goal, that we're going to find a way to come back together. That's looking harder and harder right now. And the way to do that, like, look at the position I'm in. I have to defend myself. I have to tell the truth about the claims that Peter made. I have to tell the truth. I can't just say, all you guys are right. I have to tell the truth, but I have to do that in a way that gives a pathway to come out of that situation. And I have failed at that. And if you ask me why these people won't talk to me, that's my honest answer of the way I think I wish I would have handled it differently. That when a massive mistake was made that I took genuine offense to, as the person that worked so hard to bring this community together, to watch it get treated poorly, accidental or on purpose, I take offense, and I wish that in those moments I could be more calm, less direct, and help someone understand that mistakes can happen, and here's a path out. But I definitely haven't taken that. When Isaac screwed up, I made it really clear how and what he did, and there was no way out. When Jeff, if you want to get into the weeds, we can. When Jeff made one mistake with some of his marketing that made it feel like he was using traditional business practices on the family I brought together, I took offense. And when I laid it out in a way that was easy for absolutely everyone to see, Jeff is pigeonholed. And I have a bad habit of doing that, finding this firm ground to stand on, finding true honesty, and then just forcing it. And I don't feel good about that.
May I say something?
Yes, please go ahead.
Screen.
I would like to point out, right, that Jesse can deflect, he can marginalize, he can do all of these different things. But given the way that all of these people that we're talking about were treated, I don't blame them. He's bullied them, he's harassed them. Why would they want to talk to him? They blocked him, and he's wondering why they don't want to have an open dialogue with him. I don't blame them. And secondly, to be in the position with all of these people, right? This is Jesse's behavior. Jesse, for whatever reason, cannot accept the fact that people blocked him for a reason. He told me himself the last time I talked to him about it. I asked him directly some of these things. Why do you think Isaac did this? It's not the first time Jesse and I have talked about Isaac. And most of the time I get like, I have no idea, but yet Isaac knows exactly why. And so all of that being said, I think we need to come back to the overlying truth here and the facts, which are he wasn't removed from all of these national level events. All of these people didn't block him for no reason. And once again, I don't blame them for not wanting to talk to him. I'm one of the only people who hasn't blocked him yet, which is one of the major reasons I think why I am here today.
Do you guys want to focus this equation to Jesse and Jace on the exact things that Jesse allegedly done? Because I feel like from side view, it looks like a conversation that not a lot of people can understand, right? Like people and me want to hear again, like, all right, Jesse hit the dog, or Jesse stole the motors, or Jesse, I don't know, he didn't, Jesse, because there are stories about like Jesse didn't pay someone. Jesse,
let's get
Jesse
to that.
promised to pay and ignored. Maybe that's what we want to focus. I think it's up to Jace.
I honestly feel like, because I feel like he's trying to justify, right? He's trying to find some way to justify why these people, right? How it's not his fault. Instead of just owning, Jesse, you said you were going to own this. You said you were going to have transparency, and all I hear is you deflecting and taking zero responsibility.
What is it you would like me to take responsibility for, Jace?
For starters, acknowledging.
What's up, Pastor?
I didn't say anything. I'm just listening.
Oh, why you are not going to be at any of these national level events?
You have to ask people.
I think that's a good point to address. So far, what I'm hearing, like what I thought I was going to hear, was all of these reasons why maybe TinyWhoop or Jesse is bad for the community, and I'm not hearing that. I'm hearing a lot of individual accounts of this is an HR related issue in a small business. This is a partnership issue, but it doesn't relate to a lot of us. And so I saw UAV Futures in the chat, for instance, and I've been critical of him over the years for maybe hyping up some less than good products, and I feel like putting people out of the hobby. But if I look on a long enough timeline, did he do more good than bad? And I think if I had to think of it in that respect, I think he has. Maybe I owe him an apology for being as critical as I was for certain years, mostly because when we were out in the field, people would show up and you could tell whose videos they were watching by the gear that they had. And when they showed up with something that was so old that even all of us couldn't figure out how to get them flying, it was very frustrating, right? And that's the kind of thing that I was thinking that we were going to uncover, damaging to.
I think I got example for you, John. I think I got example. This is from, I don't know if it's anonymous. Should I say anonymous email? But I got an email, right, from the person that I trust, right? And he says, why, this is a question to Jesse. He says, why did you boast about a large cash prize pool for TinyWhoop, open 3 on multiple occasions on the stream, yet paid out nothing to pilots?
Thank you very much for asking that. First of all, I didn't boast about a prize pool. I boasted about a budget. There was a point where I said prize pool instead of budget, and I am very sorry for that. The event put all of the money from the event went to the pilots and to the event. There was absolutely zero profit. And I'm so sorry if I said the word prize pool instead of budget. In the time on the live stream, I was trying to say thank you to the sponsors, the family of sponsors that came together to create whatever it was, $15,000 or $16,000 budget for the entire event that I was in charge of. And,
holy crap!
Is now,
That
I
don't
think,
sound
out and
good.
available. Spoke about the number, and I actually added the pilot fees in twice or something. Dan's got all the details. He really hounded me about it. I'm really sorry for misspeaking that. I swear to you, I'm not trying to lie to the community about the prize pool. The TinyWhoop Open hasn't given cash prizes to the pilots ever. T-Dog knew it. He won the first one. All the pilots knew it coming into this event. We don't want to attract pilots with the big prize pool. We attract pilots with the glory of winning the TinyWhoop Open. and nobody thought that there was going to be pilot money, and there never has been in the entire history of the event. I'm sorry that on the live stream I bragged about the budget and misspoke. I take responsibility for that.
Jace, you want to answer to that, or you want to ask your own question to Jesse? Up to you.
I mean, the whole prize pool thing, truthfully, speaks for itself. I mean, in the chat just a minute ago, one of his own team pilots was like, bruh. I mean, he lied on stream. He got caught. It's as simple as that. And once again, we're doing the same thing again, where we're going to have a spin salad, and he's going to apologize for
You think
something
I was trying to lie?
he didn't even do.
You think I was trying to lie to the community about the budget of my event?
No,
I think you were trying to boast.
Not about the budget, but about the prices. I think that's
because
the accusation.
I think AK sent me a clip. I don't know if this is the right clip. I think he sent me a clip where I said a $16,000 prize pool instead of budget. I swear this is not me trying. Obviously there's no $16,000 prize pool. Most of it was in prizes because almost all of a huge percentage, more than half of the
That's a
contribution.
good question. Where did the 16,000? Yeah, pause it.
Man.
Yeah,
that's a lot of money.
Yeah, stop it for a second. AK asked, where did the 16,000 go?
Yeah,
Now-
do you think we should go back? There's a lot of comments that I would like to read.
Yeah,
I think we should
let's
go back.
let's pause for a minute here on our channel. We have been pretty close to live,
Not right now,
but
later.
but yeah, we've been pretty close to live, but we do need to stop it right now for a couple of reasons, and one is to address some things. $16,000 for an event. That's a lot of money. I can tell you.
Yeah, let's
Skip and I are putting
recap
together an event very similar, and it doesn't cost $16,000. It don't cost $5,000. But go ahead.
Yeah, let's get going and go back on some of this.
From the sponsors was in prizes, and 100% of the prizes went to the pilots. I'm really sorry if I said prize pool instead of budget. I'm not trying to make a fool out of the people I brought together to fly TinyWhoop.
Yeah, go ahead, Jace.
I would just like to say, and Jesse brought it up himself, Daniel Sagano, aka FPV Skittles, the man behind iGow, most definitely did lean into Jesse hard. And again, I have all those DM transcripts. We don't have the time to go over that many pages today, so we will obviously release those after this as well. But it definitely is the pattern of behavior.
We need to follow up with those releases.
Daniel
Skip.
no longer supporting Jesse and allowing him to be a sponsor of iGow, and also left as a team.
Did you copy that, Skip?
Yeah. By the way,
Yeah.
For very similar reasons. So again, once again, right? Like I see all this deflection from you, Jesse. I see all this. I'm going to take a little bit of a spin. I'm going to take partial responsibility for one thing that really doesn't have anything to do with this. It's almost like a really clever sorry, not sorry.
Are you saying that I tried to lie about the price?
Can I finish?
That
please?
is exactly what he's saying.
What I'm back to is a pattern of behavior here that you will not take responsibility for. These things did not happen in a vacuum. Not all of these people colluded together and just simply decided one day that, we're going to go after Jesse. That is ludicrous. And honestly, it does a disservice to what has happened to them and your lack of taking responsibility, in my opinion.
Jesse, and I think someone in the chat also said that basically, yes, Jace is trying to say that you're lying. And this comes down to whatever people believe. Do they believe Jace? Do they believe Jesse? And Jace, if you have some proofs, they will be
absolutely. All of it will be put out after this. I promise you. We will make sure all of that is put out.
So, Jesse, do you believe that Jace won't be able to find proofs, or if they find proof they will be photoshopped?
That I said the word prize pool instead of budget on purpose?
That you said it multiple times?
That can't be proved.
Apparently, I don't know that.
It's possible.
Yeah.
I think it's possible.
Definitely. Actually, is the word I use.
Boom.
I did brag about it. I was proud of it. But I didn't mean to. I'm sorry I said prize pool. I'm really sorry I said. I'm not trying to make a fool of the pilots at the event or watching the event. I am really proud that there was a big budget, that tons of pilots showed up. Tons of sponsors showed up to support the TinyWhoop Championships. Of course. I'm sorry if I said prize pool. AK sent me a clip where I said it once. Until then, I was like, no, I was talking about the budget.
There is another interesting thing Jeff, if you want to reply, or we can move on to.
I would definitely, I would like to reply by
yes,
saying,
please go ahead.
I feel like we're getting way off topic, considering the topic here is why are you not welcome at these events, and we're wasting all this time talking about his own event.
Yes, Jeff. So if we're going to the question, I feel like Jesse is not able to answer that question why he got removed from the events. So you have to answer this question and explain to us why he got removed. And from the side point of view,
we've covered Utopia, right?
Yeah, but like right from the side point of view, I would not like to hear about he manipulated that guy and that guy. I wanna hear why. Not I, but from the side point of view, right? What exactly happened? You know, he kicked a dog. Whatever. He sold whatever motors to someone. He's supposed something, right? Just the juice, right? What happened?
Well, as I was alluding to before, in regards to my event, the event that I run with Jeff, the Weebly Northeast Loop Championship, I explained that pretty well. It was a pattern of behavior, right, where there was a lot of things being said on Jesse's part, a lot of lies, a lot of telling people things behind, again. And I spent, I'll be honest with you, I spent a year and a half, right, actually stopping Jesse from being removed from that particular event, trying to be the diplomat, trying to have conversations with Jesse, trying to bargain with him. And that's what I always found myself doing with him. And finally, when it got to that point where he made that promise to me and said, you know what, we are going to stop doing this. We can work together whether we like each other or not. And to Neil's point, right, isn't that what our entire goal should have been? But he lied to me once again. And so if you want to know why he was removed from my event, it's a pattern of behavior of not telling the truth, not following through with what he said he was going to do, and more importantly, bad-mouthing myself and Jeff behind our backs. The story, I'll give you a great example. First year we ran the Syracuse version of the Weebly Northeast Loop Championships. As soon as Jesse got back, the word on the street, if you will, right, was that Jesse was talking about how Jeff and I were running around and, drinking and not taking care of business. And I think that anybody who was at that event could definitely see that this was a well-run event, that we did a very good job. The pilots loved it. And obviously it's a national level event that continues to grow onto year number 6. And that's just an example, right? A story of an example of and then I confront
What's the lie
Jesse
from
about
that example?
It's again, you said that you would stop doing those things. And you
doing
will
what?
not.
What did I do that I said I wouldn't do? What was the lie? These guys are asking for a concrete example.
The lie, Jesse, is saying that you're going to do something and then doing another thing.
Something?
That's what
I
I
said
call
I was
lie.
just going to do something? What did I say I was going to do? What's the lie?
I've already explained.
you didn't bring the example. It just sounds like gossiping.
I've already explained this many times. Okay, here's a subjective thing, right? This was between Jesse and I, right? Okay. Where he promised that he would stop doing these things and then did it anyway. And if
but what are the things? What are the things?
I've explained that as well. It is it is basically poisoning wells behind the scenes, right? Telling people not to support Weebly, telling people not to support our event. He likes to say, oh, well, this is what the other side is doing to me, while doing the exact same thing to them. And as I said before, I tried to be the diplomat.
The thing? What's the thing?
No, I think he just said it, right? So that's
several times.
That's what I wanted.
What
to,
is
that's
is.
What I wanted to said that. So Jay said that you were bad mouthing. We bleed. You were bad mouthing the event, right, Jay? Did I understand you correctly?
Correct. And multiple times.
Yeah, on multiple times. And did it happen, Jason? Did you were bad mouthing We Bleed and bad mouthing events?
So privately, I have been open with the people close to me, like Peter, about Jeff's behavior. I know that creating this divide is really bad for for all of FPV, but also micro joints and TinyWhoop, the goal of the TinyWhoop project. But yes, privately, I've been honest with my friends about Jeff's behavior over the years. If that counts as bad mouthing, yes, I badmouthed Lead FPV by telling the truth about some of the decisions he did. I never badmouthed the event, Jace. I loved your event and I had a blast there. I never trash talked you. I never said that you were drinking too much. I never said that Jeff Grabowski was drinking too much or something. But yeah, I've told the truth to people like Peter. Peter has witnessed it. He was in the office when Jeff decided to screw over the prop popper guy. He watched it happen live, was listening in on the call. He was there the whole time.
Jace, let me ask you a question. So when you said bad mouthing events, because if you read conversation between me and Neil, we're bad mouthing in person a lot of stuff, right? We're bad mouthing Chris Thomas. If you're here, we're bad mouthing Malta GP IO. Doesn't mean we don't love it, but it's just how kind of friends behave, right? As long as it's not goes to public. I know Neil doesn't, right? So if this type of a bad mouthing, or it's something worse, because if it's this type of bad mouthing,
yeah, it's not that type of bad mouthing.
Explain to us, please, how is it different in the?
It's different for starters because we're not friends. Secondly, because there were agreements made personally between Jesse and I that he did not live up to. And if you want to talk about what he said to me in that particular instance, he said that I promised Jace I will not bring Jeff into any of these things. I will not bring Weebly to any of these things. I will make sure, right, that we work together for the greater good, and then did not do that. And I have before Whooptopia is when we had that conversation. And again, well, no, it was also about moving forward as well, Jesse, and you know that. But at Whooptopia, you treated me so absolutely horribly that, and here's the best part, I actually was not even factoring that in. I was not taking it. My personal stuff with Jesse, I left out of him not being allowed at Northeast Whoop Champs. I even told him that. It was literally the one promise in that particular instance that I had tried to hold him to after so many promises were broken that I literally had proof of from the text message from Peter that he broke that promise to me. He lied. And that is why I made the decision. Now, going back to Whooptopia, right, and how he treated horribly, not just on the live stream, but between segments, being, catty, basically attacking myself and Daniel Sagano for how we talk about things on the stream, being condescending. I remember at one particular point, I was so frustrated after 2 sessions with him that I tried to bring up something about teamwork and how, it's really good that, that there's more commentators on here and we can all work together and kind of get a break. And Jesse literally looked over at me and said, Jace, I used to do all this by myself. I honestly just walked off with my jaw open and was so dismayed. That was the point where I walked outside. And fortunately, a really good friend of mine, Tasty, who saw the look on my face and said, Borgie, you're definitely upset. And that's something that was new to him because very few people see me upset. And I explained the whole situation of everything that was happening to him. And he said, let me come bail you out. I got to take care of something. I'll be over to the stream table. And thank God he did, because at the time he came over, I was about to lose my cool with Jesse on live stream, on air at Whooptopia that particular year.
And again, this incident he's talking about is something when I asked AK to describe it, he said zero chance of ill will, zero ill will. Like we looked at the situation, Jesse. It's no big deal. We can tell you had no ill will. With regard to AK. This is AK's words, dude. With regard to bad mouthing Weebly FPV in a private message to one of my best friends who I sat in the same room with for years. If that's the kind of bad mouthing that you said I can't do, then yeah, I accept guilt for that.
You broke your promise, and you did, but you won't take responsibility for it.
Chris.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Maybe Whoop racing is different than like 5-inch or larger racing, but like all of these things seem like you hurt my feelings, and I'm really mad about it, and I mean, we hurt each other's feelings like every day. I haven't seen anything that's like, okay, you hurt my feelings, and now I want to take your business away and destroy it.
John, I think the here is that what Jay says is that there's a pattern, right? I probably heard
not
some,
the first time.
Yeah, I probably heard some feelings, but if there's a pattern, we don't know if there is.
Even if there's a pattern, is it worth destroying someone's business over? I'm not saying anything other than hurt feelings, to be honest.
So
let's do the testimonial.
Yeah, let's go there. So because okay, I don't think we're getting very far on this one. The last one Jace has, I think we've already covered.
Let's go to the testimonials.
Yeah. So
let's address those.
Here we go.
Yeah, so Jesse, take it away. On you pointed out these 6 testimonials. I'm not particularly sure exactly what they are, but I'll let you just go and we'll see.
I want a Peter's testimony, like not necessarily the first one, but because I
Let's
know
do
Peter.
Peter's.
He's
This is by
a
far
great guy.
the most
Okay.
Peter, first, yeah. I mean, Peter's is by far the most damning because he's one of the most beloved pilots in the entire community by myself as well. Like I said, I sat in the same room and worked with him on all kinds of exciting projects for years. He was a massive help, and he's never going to ask me for a reference, but I'd always give him a positive one. Here's what Peter said right after he left TinyWhoop. I think a lot of people had the impression we left on bad terms. Here's what he said.
And Peter is Nightwing, right? Just because.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yes.
That's right. Yeah. Nightwing said, "Hey, Tiny Whoopers. I just want to let everyone know I have recently taken a new job. Will no longer be working at TinyWhoop. My time working with Jesse Perkins has been the best years of my life. Jesse has taught me so much and has been a great mentor and friend. When I first started working with Jesse, I was lost in life. I was just treading water until the next thing showed up, and I couldn't have asked for a better person to reach out. He saved my life, was there when I needed a friend, he was there. Thank you so much, Jesse, for everything he has done personally for me and for this great community. I'll still be around participating at the events I can make it to. I can't wait for Whooptopia 2025 presented by Weebly at FPV. It's going to be the best one yet. I hope to see all of you there. And if you can't, yeah, so he just go, yeah. So the point I want to make by reading that is we worked together for years. It ended on great terms. He later sent me a message saying that he meant everything in that note. What changed was when I said, like earlier, that I told him that helping with the Weebly projects felt like a little bit of a fuck you to me. And I wasn't the only one that felt like that. One of our close mutual friends told me that it was a spiteful move for him to do, and I didn't understand it. It was really hurtful. We're talking about Peter's, the greatest guy in FPV. He sat at my dinner table a whole bunch of times. He's been to dinner with me at my sister's house. George, my son, who's 2 years old, remembers and asks about it. Wants to know if he's down here or something. Peter is a great guy, and yes, he has struggles like all of us, but we went from Jesse gave me the best years of my life. He's a mentor and coach. He said in a personal message, I will always love you and look up to you. And then now Jesse is a manipulative con man. And I'm just like, did I con you so hard you believed I was great months after you left, and then it turned around when Peter goes and becomes embraced by the Weebly family, adopted really hard, and I say something like that to him, and it was almost the last we ever spoke. He in 5 minutes, went from singing my praises to absolutely hating me. Nobody could have hurt my business or my reputation more than Peter. And to bring up that I owe him money when I have tried so hard to pay him. I gave up trying to pay Peter in February when I said, hey, Peter, I said, hey, Peter, it would be so good to talk, but every time I text, I wonder if you just don't want to hear from me. I would really feel a lot better to give you your banner and pay you. If you have a sec to send me what I owe you, I won't push you to talk. If you're open to a beer, it would make me I would make it happen anytime. I've worked so hard to pay this guy, and it is so insulting to see him go on. And I can understand why you did it, Peter. Like, I know you're mad, and I made you mad, and I'm sorry that I put it in those terms. If I could go back to when I sent you that text message, I would never put it in those terms. I think it's obvious to everybody now why I would think those thoughts, especially after the entire TinyWhoop campaign, why supporting Jeff's projects can feel like a little bit of a fuck you to me. He leaked this project that you worked on to the public. How do you justify, it's just like nasty business practices? It is a fuck you. But I'm sorry that I ever put it in those terms, Peter. I would do anything to speak to you. And again, on any terms.
So, according to Nightwing, he thinks that you still owe him some amount of money.
Yes.
Do you know about that, or you don't think?
That's what I just addressed. So his last pay period, there was never any hours submitted for. He stopped right about the same time as Custom. Custom submitted his hours and was paid. Peter didn't submit hours, and I hounded him for a long time. And the day I gave up on that was February 25th, 2 months after he had left. And I'm still good for it, Peter. I would love to square up so bad. It would make me feel so much better if we can do that. Please allow me to do that, Peter.
So
all I need is a.
Yeah. So Peter's here in the chat. It says you have the hours at your house. I don't know how much you actually owe me. You're saying you don't have the hours. Are we talking about one pay period here?
I probably
one,
have
pay period.
Nightwing says for 5 months. Wasn't.
That was a different incident, but it was related to the same problem. Because again, I mean, I don't know. I don't want to. I'm trying really hard to do this in a way that is completely respectful of all of Peter's personal issues. I don't want to bring them up. It's the same as AK accused me of ruining Greg and ruining Perspective Image. He ditched my event for reasons that had nothing to do with me. They were his own reasons. Made that abundantly clear in public information. I also told AK directly, I did not ruin. I can't talk about that because it would be airing out personal issues that Greg had to go through. In the same way with Peter, there's these personal issues on board. I'm feeling a little backed into a corner, like I'm supposed to bring out these struggles that he's going through. But the truth is,
and you don't have to, Jesse. Like I kind of get where you're heading to. If this was an HR payroll issue, and like just for any of the young people, because I know a lot of the FPV people are young people that are working, especially for small businesses. Keep track of your own hours. Keep track of how much you work, because guess what? That small business owner that you're working for is juggling about 200 things at once, and your time card is just one of those small things, and they're doing their best to keep track of it. And so it may not be malicious. I don't know the details of this story. It sounds like Jesse's very open to paying you, but you have to like know what those hours are. And so I would encourage any young person working for any business, always keep track of yourself as well, just in case this type of situation arises.
May I say something real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
I honestly feel like, for starters, right, that was not Peter's testimonial. I don't know what Jesse just read there. It was some sort of obvious misdirection tactic, but that was not Peter's testimonial. We all read Peter's testimonial, and I think it does a disservice to Peter and to the other people if he's just going to read things from 3 years ago, right, as if that's relevant today. And I also feel that, once again, sorry, not sorry, or I have no idea what's happened here, or again, taking no responsibility for the pattern of behavior here and letting him off the hook for that, or trying to get off the hook himself, is doing a disservice to why we are all here right now. And that's all that I just saw happen, to be truthfully honest with you. No responsibility taken whatsoever, and sorry, but that's not going to lead to any healing, as if that's possible anyway. But let's be real here.
It does look like we lost Jesse for some reason or another.
Yeah. I want to ask Nightwing, so whatever Jesse read from you, the very whatever good things that you wrote him, was it true? And was like the timing was true? Because it looks like from what Jesse said, you were very happy, and when you're leaving TinyWhoop, you were very happy. Just I'm not sure if we can see it in the chat. I messaged Jesse, maybe
Okay,
just his camera died. Yeah, maybe you can give him a call. Because I feel like we just barely scratched the surface. I am down to go longer.
Can I just say as well, right?
Yes,
like,
please, go ahead.
If he was so happy, why'd he leave? I feel like we're missing so many logical things here, right? That we just want to glaze over and go, oh, that could have happened to anybody. Or
Nightwing just said, Jesse could bury me.
Yeah,
I mean, that's the whole thing. I've left many jobs I loved for a better job. I mean, and it could have been for bad circumstances.
When you leave, you want to leave on the best terms you possibly can, because the person with the freaking reputation can literally freaking bury you from even doing this hobby again.
Yep.
This is I'm not saying that it wasn't. I'm just saying like that's kind of a jump that we just don't know the information to be able to say one way or the other.
Knows.
Yeah, he knows.
Right there,
if he wants.
He just said it. We could get it up on the screen. That's Nightwing telling you. There you go.
Yeah.
So he said it to save face, but he actually left under duress.
Exactly.
You're from the phone. And his camera died, so he's like trying to rejoin it. I have to defend him a little bit, right? So, isn't it the case that because Nightwing sent him this nice message that make Jesse feel good, and then Jesse's like, all right, then we're good, and then all of a sudden, like something happened. Like, isn't that the guilt is also a little bit on Nightwing for sending that nice message, making Jesse feel good, instead of like, well, you know, if you're working with an asshole, it's kind of your responsibility to tell him he's an asshole.
I can definitely speak to that. I could definitely speak to that because truthfully, people in the past who have challenged Jesse or put Jesse on the spot like that usually get smacked down in one way or another. If Jesse cannot manipulate or bully them personally, he'll simply just get all kinds of other people to come in. And currently, that's what's going on right now, as Nightwing has made it perfectly clear that he does not want to talk to Jesse. Jesse just continues and continues. And then on top of that, even enlists his own family members to now start bullying Peter, which has honestly been incredibly hard on the man. And I feel for him in that regard. So, Jesse, if you can hear this, I don't know if you're back, why don't you just leave him alone?
Yeah, he's not back yet, but I think Nightwing's had enough of us talking about it.
Yeah, let's skip him for now.
I don't blame him.
Yeah.
He's back. There we go.
Is it working?
Yes, it is working.
You're good.
Okay,
Nice.
I'm just gonna use this much worse microphone.
It's fine.
Thank you so much.
Clear.
Yeah, just I was listening the whole time. I had to restart my phone, and I'm really sorry for that, everybody. And now my phone is just blowing up. Okay, I'm on Do Not Disturb. Thank you guys. I'm so sorry about that. Yeah, Peter did make that post in the Facebook group. It's still there. I don't know why he hasn't deleted it. I know he obviously feels different. 2 months after he sent me that, he also sent me a message, like I said before, that said, yeah, Jesse, I just want you to know everything I said on my public post, I really meant it, and I will always love you and be your bro. And yeah, if you guys want a screenshot, I get that feelings change. I get that I upset and pissed off Peter, but those are what happened. And yeah, I guess I don't know what else to say other than that. I'm so sorry, Peter. I would do anything to go back in time and take back the way I worded that to you.
And I just want to point out, like, I think all these things are fair. Like, I think these, employee relations issues are legit, right? Like, you're apologetic towards it. You wish that it didn't happen, but I don't know if that really should influence someone's purchasing decision. And I feel
This
like
is not corporate
Jeff,
America.
like it should, because he's giving an avenue to like assemble all of these things together in one area so that everybody can speak out. But like we've seen things historically happen behind the scenes in the past, and they've never all assembled to talk about them. Like if you ask Kebab how much he got paid for all the floss frames sold, he might not have a positive comment to it, but they just didn't go make it so public. And so I just don't know what to think about that. Like I want to be sympathetic to all of the employees that had issues, but at the same time, it's a small business and there's going to be growing pains along the way.
Well, I agree.
Nightwing just said he's scared of Jesse in the chat. Yeah, that's the truth. If you want
Because
to
you
know it,
put all the hard work in,
and we want to talk
What
about.
are you afraid of? Sorry, Jason, I'm not trying to talk over you, but I want to ask because
you put in all this hard work, and then you make a relationship with the community and everything, and one man can make that all change.
Yep.
I have no communication with Peter. What you're afraid of?
There was a comment that he wrote while he was gone that you could bury him. He just wrote that.
Yeah.
I don't really know.
I could never bury you, Peter.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yes, you could.
I saw a lot of people saying you gotta read the whole testimony from Peter, and I agree. There's a lot of inside of it, but also it's big. So, Jace, do you think we should read it right now, or we just move on?
Again, it's on the TinyWhoop group page. Yeah, absolutely. I think it's there.
Yeah,
if
just
you
to
guys
move
want
on,
to go
so
read
I
it,
think we move on.
All right. Jace, so since the first testimony was kind of picked by Jesse, do you want to pick the next testimony, you want to explain what happened, Jace?
Are we gonna go through? We're gonna go through all 6 of them now.
Whatever you want to pick the biggest testimony, the most important testimony for you, and speak it up. Like what?
I think truthfully, Peter's was the biggest, but secondly, I'd say Isaac's.
Isaac's. We did we cover that, or you want to cover that more?
We definitely covered a lot on Isaac, and again, I'm not going to speculate. Isaac's been in the chat talking a lot about it. Isaac's also been through that entire group, right, responding to different people and further sharing more details of his story. Let's just say that Jesse stole, Isaac's design. He stole his idea, and then he basically tried to shame him for trying to have ethics and morals as a businessman, to which Isaac most definitely did not appreciate.
Let's talk about
that. And as I said before, after Isaac blocked Jesse continued to harass and bully him, again, sending him strange playing cards in the mail.
See what AK just said about Johnny Five?
Yeah.
Right, on Isaac's part.
I've heard there was also a story.
Sorry, I had to
I've
take
heard
medication.
The story about the car. So I want JC to explain the cars. I want JC to explain the allegedly stealing motors. And there was also a story where JC said something like, our wives met each other and they knew them so well, but they actually never met.
I can definitely.
That's not that important. It's just something that I heard a lot. And
Yep.
So let's start from stealing motors. Did you steal them? What happened? And what about cars? Why did you send them? And what about
cards? So if a lot of the guys watching this have ordered from my store before, and sometimes you get a playing card in your order, and the whole point of that is to be confusing. It even comes with a sticker on it that says confusion is an important part of the unboxing process. When Isaac was one of my biggest customers and one of my closest friends. He ordered from me all the time, multiple times a week, and because I was giving out all these playing cards, I bought bulk playing cards, and whenever Isaac would order, I saved all the aces for him because he was my favorite customer. So every time he ever ordered something from me, I'd send him an ace of spades, an ace of diamonds, like a foil one, the fanciest one I had, the VIP version. Sorry, I'm looking down there at that screen, but I realized I should be looking up here. So after we had our falling out, I kept sending him cards. I still needed to send him some motors at one point, even though he wasn't talking to me. He was still going to test motors because he was trying to expand the UWL motor repertoire or whatever. And I sent him cards in that one. I sent him one of those butterflies that you spin up, and when you open the package, it explodes out. I've sent him plenty. I think I've sent him 5 playing cards in the mail with notes that say things like, "I really miss you, and I'll do anything to talk to you. We should have been friends this entire time. And we'll look back on this and say we should have been friends this entire time." Stuff like that. It's extremely innocent, not bullying, not harassment. And if he wants me to stop, consider it done. If you would like it to stop, Isaac, consider it done. I'm not trying to harass you. But I have no opportunity to reach you other than snail mail, and I really missed you in the beginning. I wanted to build a bridge, and I have no way to build that bridge. So that's the playing cards. Did I steal the motors? Absolutely not. I have been working on, I'm the first one to release motors that were made by JCW, which is who makes Happy Model motors. I was the first one to do that, and I really helped Happy Model sort of become Happy Model through our cooperation. It's one of the reasons that they've always given me special treatment that's really upset Jeff, especially with regard to some of my motor exclusivity that I have. I worked with some of the guys from Team Deadlock they developed really on their own this idea for a locking shaft. Their idea didn't work. So we made adjustments to it. But anyway, I went to VCI and said, "Hey, we had talked at Whooptopia, this is 2 years ago. We had talked to Whooptopia, and I said, "Hey, I'm getting serious about the locking shaft. I want to lock down exclusivity, and I want to push really hard to make the next round of TinyWhoop motors come from VCI to be VCI motors. We've got some problems to solve. VCI was struggling with efficiency at the time, so there was a few contingencies, but yes, he gave me exclusivity. And then later, just under 2 weeks after that, gave the same exclusivity to Isaac Pettit. We're talking about Mike Duran right now. He'll confirm all of this, I'm sure. And he
Mike,
said, Jesse,
can
I gave... Yes, perfect. Hello, Mike. I tried to reach you before this. Yeah, he said, Jesse, I gave exclusivity to you first, and I'm going to stay true to that. I tried really hard to work with Isaac. I made gigantic sacrifices to my potential sales that would have come from that cooperation. Isaac was committed to making a similar but different and competing motor. He was not open to co-branding a motor, which was the agreement that led to us sharing the exclusivity I had locked down. And when that didn't work out, he got really, really hurt, really, really offended. And yeah, there's a little more to that story, if I'm being completely honest. There's, thanks, Jace. Yes, there's a part of the story where he had whitelisted for UWL some of the TinyWhoop motors. He whitelisted my Ginkgo motors. They were 802 EX 19,000 kV motors, and he had allowed me to put them out in 3 different colors and told me that there was no reason to retest these different colors of the same motors. When I did it a 4th time after I pissed him off, it turned into this big problem. He changed all the rules of UWL, which he has the right to do. It's his baby. And said that if there's a different sticker on the box, it's new branding. New branding means new motors. And I showed him in a video that you could peel the sticker back and see that same old sticker underneath. And I told him, like, what if I just take all the stickers back off? And he was like, no, it's a different motor. You're not welcome in UWL. And I think at that point I was accused of manipulating the spec or something.
So,
because
why, maybe a little bit separate story, but it's still about the motors. If you go to TinyWhoop.com, you can see there are motors there that basically we bleed motors that have drops of blood on them, like at the top. Like, how do you explain that?
I would love to explain that. Thank you so much. I got to stop looking down there because this is where you're a bigger screen. How about if I close
whatever? Yeah.
Okay. TinyWhoop was the first company to invent the one-piece bell. I never got exclusivity on it. At that point, I wasn't focused on exclusivity. It wasn't necessary. We created the one-piece bell and a motor called the onesie. It was released in 802 and 702. Jeff, this is one of my biggest red flags. I knew Jeff was going to get a motor at some point, and he had tested samples from several different motor companies, and all of them were getting back to me. But then it stopped, and he started to announce that he's releasing a motor soon. He told the entire community it was explicitly not coming from Happy Model. It was not a clone of my motors. It was from a company called SUMOTOR Company, which I later found out, I thought it was Sue Motor Company. I later found out it was a joke, some motor company. Jeff admitted to me it was all a lie they did for marketing. The reason this was so important was because when he released it sight unseen. So just like when Rotor Riot released Walk Snail saying it's absolutely different than DJI and you don't get to see it, you don't get to know, Jeff came onto the scene, released an exact clone of my motor. I'm talking same one-piece bell I designed, same shaft size, same wire length, same PCB, even literally the same color, with the same exact design, right? And this whole time, up until today, Jeff still maintains he didn't know it was going to be exactly like mine. He says he never saw a sample, never saw a prototype, never saw a photo. Jason, in this call, knows that's not true, knows that's a lie to me, that Jeff cloned the motor. Jason admitted to it on another call, that Jeff cloned the motor, knew what it was going to look like, lied to the entire community about it being from a different motor company,
Watch
and
the
then
blink rate
released
increase.
it. When he did that, Happy Model broke an agreement with me because I have exclusivity on the onesie motor that I developed, not the whole one-piece bell mechanism, but my particular motor design with all the changes I made, namely the one-piece bell, the shape and structure of the bell, the PCB added, the wire length, right? All the parameters that I had established. So when that happened, Jeff immediately started working on a redesign because he had no option of getting more motors. And he made this minor change. Instead of little circles, he made them into teardrops, not knowing that I mentioned a second ago that I worked with Happy Model since the very beginning and had an exclusivity agreement, or not exclusivity, but I had an agreement with them that when they release new motors or new products, I always get first release. The only reason I had this agreement with Happy Model was because, like I said, I helped Happy Model become Happy Model, showed them an amazing support, and in exchange, they gave me that guarantee. So when Jeff had the second bell design, and this is a huge point of contention, and AK is going to jump into the chat here too. I released this design that Jeff had some part in before Jeff did by, I think, not very long, but some amount of time. And I also released it in something like, it was one of the biggest orders I've ever placed in my life. I spent tens of thousands of dollars.
Jason, let's be a little shorter, yeah.
Oh, pardon me.
We'll give you work, Jace. We'll give you work.
I'm sorry to get that. Yeah.
Whatever. Yeah. No worries. No worries.
First of all, things here, and I'll try to.
Let's give Jace just like a whatever minute, like 30 seconds to finish. Or did you finish, Jason?
Thanks, Ivan.
Yeah. And then,
me?
Yeah. Jace. Yeah, Jesse, did you finish? Like 30 seconds, right? And then Jace, whatever.
The answer to why the motors look the same is because of the story of my motor being cloned. And then as soon as he got in trouble for cloning my motor, or not got in trouble, but Happy Model sort of got in trouble, he started advertising, don't worry, we're going to release a new, much lighter bell that's going to be much better.
Right.
Obviously, there's huge problems with that. And Happy Model said, Jesse, here's the new lighter bell, you get the first release, and you can roll with it. So those motors have been outdated for a long time. They're completely obsolete now, and I still have some on the shelf that I sell for cheaper, but they're an obsolete motor design.
Jace?
All right.
You need 30 minutes, they're yours.
First of all, I never said that to Jesse. That's a complete bold-faced lie. Secondly, I feel like we've somehow gotten off topic, right? I did not admit to you that Jeff did anything, first of all. Secondly, I feel like we've gotten way off topic. We were supposed to be talking about Isaac and testimonials, but somehow we've made this about Jeff once again.
Yeah, it was my question. I asked.
I get it, but you see what I'm saying? The bottom line is that Jesse wronged Isaac. Isaac blocked him, asked him to please leave him alone. And Jesse continued to harass him. So, I mean, and to reference Jeff's whole thing in regards to why he would not give the information, any information to Jesse or acquiesce to any of Jesse's bullying is because why would he? Why would, if I called up another business, competitor of mine and I said, hey, listen, I want you to tell me what you're doing X, Y, and Z, I wouldn't tell that person that either. And that's exactly what Jesse did to Jeff in this instance. And he could talk about how he's a good businessman with exclusivity deals and all that kind of stuff. But the bottom line is it's not a teardrop, it's a blood drop. And that's because Jeff Grabowski and Weebly FP designed that motor with Happy Model, had a locking knurled shaft, had absolutely no idea that there was exclusivity. But again, we are getting way off topic for what we're actually supposed to be doing.
That came later. It was an exact
I feel like we should move on. I feel like we should move on.
What's your next topic you want to do? What next topic do you want to do if you want to move on?
Still, we're kind of in the testimonials. Because the next topic on Jason's list is what is TinyWhoop and what is TinyWhoop's overall goals? I feel like we started there.
Maybe Jason.
Yeah, I've already said. I feel like we've covered that.
Yeah.
We talked about that. We talked.
Jace, what's next topic that you propose? I just want to give Jace, the control about what's next topic you want to discuss, right?
What I would like to know is how we can sit here and pretend like all of this isn't happening. It's not really a topic. I guess it's more of an astonishment and a question at this point.
What was the question?
Like, this is a question to us or to JC or what was the
blink rate's high on both of them.
The whole world at this point, but sure. I could ask it to Jesse. I already know that Jesse's not going to take responsibility for this, and truthfully, that's the real reason why we don't have any good communication. Right? You cannot have good communication when you constantly bully people and bring them to the point that they block you. And to be truthfully honest with you, at this point, I feel like all we're doing is giving him a stage to try to spin things, and it's not doing any justice to the people that he's wronged, and it's honestly just kind of getting old. And
well, I think the right way to give justice to people, at least try to, is tell their stories and what exactly happened, right? So that's kind of your role, as far as I understand, Jace, because I don't know many of these people. And you want to go there, whatever direction you want to go. Or I have some questions from secret email, right? And they're pretty spicy allegations too. Allegations.
Let's go there.
We're about a half an hour over, but yeah, why don't you just take the lead, guys, right? And let's bring us through the email.
Do you want to do any other testimonials? There's 6 total, 6 people that sort of, yeah. So just throwing it out there.
Listen, my honest opinion is that they're up there on Facebook for anybody to read.
Yeah.
These are their words, not anybody else's. I honestly feel like we can go through each.
Would you like for me to respond on Facebook?
Let's do this.
He's not going to make any admissions, and he's not going to take any responsibility. And that's what I've seen over and
Yes,
over.
I am. I'm waiting
waiting
for the opportunity to take responsibility for some of these for sure.
Yeah, go for it, Justin.
I honestly.
Okay. Go for it.
Thank you so much. The one that has haunted me the most that I was so sad to see show up there is so legit is the one, can't remember who posted it. Person's name. Josh Willits posted about Sheesh FPV. This is one that I'm so sorry it ever happened because it's a story of I was commentating Whooptopia and Sheesh was a participant. He was a pilot and he was in an impossible position. Sheesh was like clearly about to lose. And I said, if this guy makes a come from behind victory, I'm going to make him the next TinyWhoop sponsored pilot. And miraculously, he did it. I never followed up. And I don't know, I don't think Sheesh is watching, but just in case you are, Sheesh, I'm so sorry I said that and never ever followed up. And it broke my heart when Peter finally told me that that was the reason you gave for dropping out of the hobby. I'm so sorry for that. I want to. Does anybody have any questions? Can I do the next one?
Chase, you got questions about
honestly, that? Guys, honestly, I'm going to interject here and honestly just say that I find that none of this is going anywhere and we're not.
You don't want to allow me to apologize?
We set up to do.
I don't even get a voice to apologize, Jake.
I think the
would you rather I not apologize for these things? You want
yes, I already know that you're not apologizing. You're not apologizing.
Well, he is. Hang on a second.
Yeah, I mean, that's not fair, I don't think.
I mean, like, the whole point of this was to give Jesse a voice to these allegations, to understand why the movement exists. We now understand the movement exists because people came together to make allegations. And then we wanted to have Jesse on to be able to address or apologize to those allegations. We wanted you here to be able to provide other information, you know, and more color to it and represent those people who allegated or bring more stories to light. I feel like while this has taken a long time and it's been frustrating, we're doing all of those things. So now we're at the point where we have these allegations and Jesse's trying to apologize or address them. I mean, I feel like that's what we're here for.
And I think, Jace, at any moment, I think I told you, like, you want us to move different direction, you want us to cover different questions, just let me know, we're just gonna do it right away, right? The only rule, we have to give Jesse a word, right? But any questions?
I feel like we've given him lots of words.
Yeah, well, let's give you word. Like, yeah, fuck it, 30 minutes, all yours. Let's go.
Anybody to apologize to, I guess.
Okay, well then,
And then
what do you kind of want to do, right?
Well, I mean, can we bring up Matt Max's comment? He flies with us a lot, and I think he makes a pretty good point. You can try to run a business for 10 years and having only 6 people butthurt deserves a Nobel Peace Prize. That's not my comment, that's Matt's, but it's an interesting take.
Okay.
It's, you know, I don't think, because it's like way more people than 6, right? As far as I understand, allegedly.
It's way more people than 6.
Yeah,
and again,
I'm just reading what he told.
You're not being biased.
Is there 20? There's not 20 in the group. Maybe there's some other testimonials that I haven't seen. I haven't seen this post you guys talked about from 8K. I literally haven't seen that.
Yeah, yeah, Jace, do you want me to go to something that I got on the secret mail?
Did you guys want to let me apologize?
Yeah,
should we move past that?
I think you just did, but
I honestly
apologize to one person.
Yes, go ahead, please.
I have more than one person to apologize for, too. I want to say an apology to my old roommate, Say. I bet you're here watching. Say, I'm sorry for the things you had to deal with in our house. We had a peaceful home for almost 2 years. But at the end, my girlfriend came and she she got violent, punched a hole through my door, and yes, the police had to be involved. A lot of you guys know that and know about that, and Say should never have had to deal with that in her life. At the end, Say broke the lease and tried to stick me with a Craigslist roommate I wasn't comfortable with. That made Say really upset too. I'm so sorry I wasn't more proactive during a pretty difficult time of my life, maybe the worst years of my life. I should have been more proactive about helping you find a replacement to help you get out of the lease, someone I was comfortable with. I did my best, and I'm so sorry that you had to deal with any of that, Say. And I miss being your friend too, and I really appreciate the kind words you said at the end of your testimonial about the positive experiences you had. The other people that had testimonials were Juan Castillo. I'm so sorry, Juan, that I didn't give you more information about the TinyWhoop Open 3 event and that you didn't get your refund until I think today. His refund went through. I didn't read, to be completely honest, I didn't read to the bottom of his complaint until today. Preparing for this thing, I read through every word on there. That was when I realized it was only 6 people. But Juan, I'm so sorry I botched that communication leading up to my event. And I'm so sorry that it took until today for you to get all of your money back. It was $80. That should have been in your pocket a long time ago. That's my fault, and I'm sorry. I'm really sorry for that. I can understand how that kind of thing can leave a weird taste in your mouth and potentially, drive someone away from the hobby. I don't think it did in this case, but that's the last thing I want to happen, and I just want to apologize for that. For Derek Allred, if you're in the chat, this is one of my biggest haters, and he's the one that spread a really loud "fuck you" message all over. It's the reason we released the Bardwell transcripts, right? Because Bardwell got back to me. He's like, "What is this about?" He was sharing the Pyrodrone post, right? He went to Pyrodrone, posted this, and then So here's the deal, Derek. A lot of maybe everything you said.
Sorry, is it Derek Allred from Testimonies?
That's correct.
Yes.
Derek Allred, I think he's Backwoods FPV, and he's been to a couple of my events, and he's a good guy, but he got really spicy, gave me a lot of ultimatums while we were working together. It was actually really difficult. I'm glad to hear that one of my other friends has had a different experience with that. The agreement with Derek Allred was he understood that TinyWhoop had exclusivity on the original prop popper. We invited him to make prop poppers for Winston. And yes, Winston FPV, the owner and creator and inventor and manufacturer of the prop popper, had an exclusivity deal with me that was only a verbal contract. And he had the ability to take the sales of that product to any other store he wanted. He was in charge of that. And I made it clear to him over and over, the moment it's a good business decision for you to dissolve our exclusivity, it's fine with me. You've been a great friend. You're an important part of the community. You can do whatever you want for your family. He's got a son that's the same age as my son, and our families are friends. So, Derek, I'm sorry that you didn't agree with Winston's decision to hold on to the exclusivity with my store, and I'm really bummed to hear that you've taken everything you've learned from him and are going to Weebly to rip off Winston FPV again with this new product you've got coming out. I can't wait to see it. I hope it's awesome. I'm bummed at how this went down. And the thing that I want to apologize most for is not being a more proactive communicator between you and Winston to help you understand that he's in charge of who you can sell he never gave anybody his business. He never asked for a business partner, but he allowed for someone to build prop poppers for him that were sold to me. And I'm sorry that it wasn't bigger numbers for you. I'm sorry you didn't get to quit your job for Uber Eats so you could do prop poppers all the time and get rich. Maybe you're doing that now with Weed. That's great for you. I could have done a better job managing that relationship too. The only other person left on the list is Jeff Grabowski. And I apologize to Jeff Grabowski in my previous video because obviously the way my behavior has made him feel bad in some way. I don't know. I'm not gonna speak for Jeff or comment, but he's obviously really upset with me. Yes, there was a moment that lasted for weeks when we were carrying the same battery. He had it listed at over a gram lighter than its weight. And I asked him privately, I said, hey, it looks like you might have made a mistake on your website because we all know this battery weighs 8.4 grams. It's not 7.5 plus or minus 1 gram, right? Or whatever. That was what he changed it to. At first it was 6 or something plus or minus 1 gram, then 7. Then he finally told the truth about the weight. During that time, I asked all of his team pilots to send me their weights because, again, this is affecting my sales. And I always have this little piece of my heart that gets offended when somebody's telling a lie to a community I helped bring together. So I said, Jeff, I think you might have made a mistake. He said, no, the manufacturers told me this is the weight. And I said, well, Jeff, the manufacturers always lie. So Jeff sent me this absolutely insane video of him weighing batteries on a scale that had no decimals. And I sent him a scale. He said he still uses it today. It's got 3 decimals down to the gram. Jeff can tell what his batteries weigh. And even after he had that, and after he had heard from all of his pilots, he said, no, I'm not changing the weight of the battery on the website. So I messaged him back 3 days later, and I said, Jeff, I'm so sorry, but I have to make a public post because a bunch of new people coming to the hobby are being fooled. At that point, Jeff changed the weight of his battery on his website immediately. And all is well. None of that ever came to the surface, but yes, it revealed the kind of business that Jeff was willing to do to the community I brought together, and it left that taste in my mouth for a long time. And again, it's been so important to me to keep those conflicts on the DL, even though it hurt my business the most. And the reason for that is the division is worse. And I don't, even if I think my neighbor is being shitty, I don't want the community to hold that opinion, even if it's true, because the division is so much worse than the losses otherwise.
JC, can I ask you, because this is going a little too long, I ask you, maybe you can go on Facebook and reply to all the testimonies at least?
Well, that was all of them.
All right, so...
But yes, I could. I don't want to... I don't like the... Here's the thing.
Well, it's all right. Let's give a little bit of time to Jace, right? I feel like we already tried to... I accidentally removed Jace. Yes, let's give time to Jace and I remove Jace.
All right, guys. So here's the honest deal, and I'm sorry. No, go for it, Ivan. Sorry.
Yeah, but so my question is, right? I feel like you're not satisfied, and I just want to be clear. Are you not satisfied with how we managed it, or you're not satisfied with the Jace's answers and what we're doing with it, right? Because from my side, I'm ready to go for weighing longer. We can give you time. We can make you ask any questions to JC. We cannot force to say anything from JC, but we can see how he reacts. Whatever you want to do, just tell me and we're going to do it, right?
I mean, in all honesty, Ivan, it's a little bit of column A, a little bit of column B. And to me, that was the most disingenuous, fake, sorry, not sorry that I've ever heard. And I personally am all done giving Jesse a stage to dance on. So if it's okay with everybody else, I would prefer to just end this now. We are already 38 minutes past, and this is clearly going nowhere.
All right. Well, you will still post the documents, right? Whatever.
Yes, absolutely. Every single bit of them.
If anyone wants to have a look at them, and JC, you're also free to post whatever you want to post. This is a, free YouTube channel.
What about the donation?
They have really big words.
Okay, so then in our just overview of how we were going to run this, if it's wrap time, then is that Jace, I wanted to give you an opportunity to have closing comments. And then I wanted to give Jesse an opportunity to have closing comments. Do you have any further comments, as a closing statement for all of this?
My closing statement is that we should probably just end it now. That's about all I have to say at this point. It's kind of gotten ridiculous, and I'm honestly having a hard time staying not frustrated, continuing this long, watching him lie over and over again. And it's really unproductive, unfortunately. So if you want to sit here and let him talk like a gentleman, right, for another half an hour over and over again and spin in circles, I'll sit here like a gentleman and watch it. But I don't have anything else to say. I'm sorry.
Okay, thank you. Jesse, any closing?
Just not very long.
Sure. Yeah. Well, I wish that we could stay longer, not because I want to drag anybody else through this, but I want to know from Jace what I just lied about. I just apologized to 4 of these people, and I think I apologized to all of them. And
No, you didn't. Those were not apologies,
Let's
Jesse.
do it.
I'm not sure
Talk
if you
to
don't realize that, but those are not apologies. And again, I meant what I said. It's time to end this, and we need to be respectful of that.
Those are apologies, Jace.
Okay,
I am sorry.
Okay, well,
I'm
gonna
sorry
be
to
quiet,
say.
and I'm gonna let you have a closing statement now. So, because I'm done.
All right.
Okay, Jace. I guess I would like to. Yeah, I mean, they are real apologies, because there's pain. I feel pain for what happened with my friend Peter, and I really miss you, Peter. If you think I'm lying or not, I don't really care anymore. I really had a wonderful time with you, and I miss our time together. Derek, yeah, I don't know. Do you guys want me to do all these again? Yes, my apologies are real.
Yeah,
I'm so sorry to sheesh. I feel like, yeah, you guys can judge whether you think I'm sorry or not. I mean, I really don't know what to say. The thing.
Can I ask? I have like a few questions, and let's just you address them very quickly. If Jace,
Yes,
like very please quickly, right? And if Jace wants to jump in, I want to be like, you answer, and Jace is like, this is a lie, and we move on. Or Jace is like, yeah, I agree, and then we move on, right? But your answer almost yes or no. So Jesse, do you allow the use of the TinyWhoop generically to anyone now, or is still an issue for you? All right, good. Jace, you want to say something? Like, good or?
No, sir.
Cool, all right.
I think that's great.
And I lost the list of my questions. All right, so, yeah, here it is. Did you tell AK that the shipping cost was like $350 for goodies bag Whoop case for Soviet 2025, where actually it was $50?
Excuse me?
So you told 8K it cost $350 exactly to ship out all of the pilot goodie bag Whoop cases for Woodstopia 2025. Noah confirmed it was $50 since he shipped them. Just curious why you lie about something so petty.
I told AK that I was willing to after my prizes arrived late at Whooptopia. AK told me he was going to send them back to me. I spent $400 on those things. I told AK I was willing to spend the $350 it would take to ship them from Whooptopia to all the participants. Otherwise, these are like customized cases that look just like this.
Let's keep it short. Yeah,
so sure, each ship. So I can send them the ship from my store.
Audio is bad. Is it bad on your end, Skip?
What'd you say?
He said
Audio was bad.
Do you constantly direct message new patrol pilots and attack them, even to the point where you cause the Young to quit entirely?
No.
Jesse?
Jace.
Sorry, Jace.
Jace.
Sorry.
I cannot speak the newbie drone pilots, and as far as the AK shipping thing, AK's addressing it in the chat right now. He's addressed it one-on-one with Jesse. It's again, this is wow. Okay, keep going though. I maybe we'll get.
If you went to the last Whooptopia, did you get a custom case? Because I gave you one. And if you didn't get one, AK still got it, and I will pay to ship it to you.
All right. Well, I you know, like maybe I'm asking these questions like for nothing because it seems like JC is just saying no, that's not what happened. I feel like I have to, right? And
I said what happened.
Because what else we're supposed to do is like, all right, who do we believe? Everyone decides by himself, or he.
Well, hang on. He answered. So, like this is what I got from it was that there was a box shipped to Whooptopia. It was late of prizes. Then prizes needed to be shipped individually to pilots, and that there would be a cost of approximately $350 to ship all these packages individually. So yeah, it probably costs $50 to ship a big box to Wooptopia, but that box showed up late. Okay, then individual boxes would need to be shipped to X number of pilots, and that total cost would be $350 approximately to send.
That was my guess.
Yeah, sure, but X dollars, some hundreds of dollars to ship individual boxes to pilots.
All right.
Yeah.
We have a very important question from Tyrant, and he even left the super chat. Jesse, I want to know why you commissioned art from Ogre FPV and refused to pay him for 4 months. Why? I have screenshots. And I actually saw the big story, right? We're just kind of trying to be short, and yeah.
I did not refuse to pay him, but I didn't pay him timely, and I have no problem apologizing. I already have apologized to that profusely, and I made right on it. But I'm still sorry for it, and it was still wrong. That was super sloppy. I never used the artwork, but he made it for me, and I paid him for it. And I love Ogre's artwork. And I'm sorry, Ogre.
You paid him late, right? That's what I understand.
Yeah,
you're sorry.
I paid him late. I think I made up for it too. I think I did something extra, but it doesn't matter. I fucked that for, and I'm so sorry.
As far as I understand, that's what I heard, right? Is that you eventually paid because someone called you out in the TinyWhoop chat of sponsored pilots, and you paid.
I think it was Dan.
Yeah, and I think you only paid after that, and I saw screenshots where, right, could be Photoshop, I have no clue, right? But in the screenshots, you're basically accusing a person of like, well, why did you do it in the TinyWhoop chat? That's not the right place to do it, where it was already like 4 months late after payment, and people trying to hit you from different angles, and you like didn't reply. That's my understanding.
Yeah, so I was never trying to keep your money, Ogre. I'm so sorry about that. And it's true that I probably said something like it's an inappropriate place, but if that's what it took to get in touch with me, that's fine. It's fine with me. And I don't know what to say. I would definitely, I don't know what to say. I paid him. I'm really sorry for it. We apologize and worked through it on the spot. A lot of the stuff that's coming up, especially from AK, is stuff that we have brought up other years and that we worked through and worked past. And I get that some of that still burns. So, Ogre, I guess I'll just say to you, tell me what you would like me to do to make it right now, and I'll do it. If you want me to pay you double, that's fine. If you want me to commission some more artwork or pay in advance for the next thing or whatever, that's fine with me. I love your stuff. I'm not trying to take advantage of a FPV artist and screw him out of payment.
Jace, so the Ogre, I'm not sure if you pronounced correctly, but the Ogre question apparently was very important. We even got like a few super chats just about that. Like, do you want to ask more?
I think. Yeah. I don't know. I want to try to be as brief as possible, but I can definitely tell you that, once again, to the pattern of behavior that I've been trying to talk about all night long, this didn't happen in a vacuum. He did not lose another Team TinyWhoop pilot as a result of this because of no reason, right? He had to be called out, and it wasn't actually Skittles that called him out. It was Tyrant himself who called him out in the TinyWhoop chat. And to be perfectly honest with you, if he hadn't done that, he never would have paid him. And again, to me, he can apologize all he wants, but it's literally just empty at this point. I've seen him apologize to me like that so many times and then literally do the same thing. Like, I'll give you a great for instance. If I keep poking you in the chest and you ask me to stop and I say, oh, I'm sorry, and then tomorrow I get up and I poke you in the chest again, like, how many times does that happen before you just go, you're not sorry? So again,
I think I was trying to screw him out of his payment, Jay. I think I wanted like a couple hundred. You think I want to screw a couple hundred? Is that what you're saying?
I'm suggesting I don't believe anything you say anymore, sir.
Is that a yes? That you think I would take advantage of Ogre like that?
I don't believe anything.
I fucked up.
You say.
Sorry, I think that's what he's saying.
I was not organized enough and didn't blow up, and because the project changed, man, I lost sight of it, and I really am sorry for that. I am not here to screw over an FPV artist within our community. There's only a few of them. That would be awful. It's a couple $100. I don't need that money. I just fucked it up, and it was Ogre. But I'm pretty sure I made good on it, and I think I did extra. And if it's not, I haven't done it right. Say what you want me to do.
Audio out for you, Skip.
No, I think that's it. I get like a few, I don't know, like a quick question. What did the first place win at the TinyWhoop Open?
Okay, it's good now.
Does it work?
It is now.
Budget.
Yeah, it just drops out.
Well, it wasn't a $16,000. Here's what they won: the trophy and all of the glory of winning the TinyWhoop Championship, just like every other year. No change at all.
All right.
And $16,000 worth of sponsorship.
Do you think we've
Wow.
done everything with
With no
JC,
pilot
do you think
price.
we've done everything good as a host of these? I don't know how to call it.
I was really, yeah. I mean, I don't understand why the format is the sort of interrogation. I'm really bummed that these voices are you know, they're, like I said, they're legit, and I care about them, and I want to make them right. The ones where I screwed up, I want to make them right. The ones where the info's wrong, I can't lie about it and accept responsibility. I'm going to give my side of the story like I feel like I have tonight. I'm proud of the work I've done for 10 years, bringing people together and creating one of the biggest communities in all of drones in the world. I'm going to always be fighting for the community. I will always be here running the store and helping new people experience the gift of flight. That's my life's mission. And yes, over these 10 years, I don't, you know, there's 6 testimonials. That was the biggest problem, was these 6 testimonials, right? That's what I felt like I most needed to address. Ogre, I really care about you too. Was this on a different part of the list?
Please, you know, go ahead and address that.
I did. Others, to address others, I feel like Kevin sits square. So here, transparency for any engagement. Kate.
I think audio is dropping out again. Skip. I don't know what the deal is.
Interview me, video call or a phone call, and record it, post it, anything they want to do. Let's here for it as a way to be completely
coming back now.
transparent.
There it goes.
As I always have been. I'm more than happy to.
So I don't have any more questions to JC. And I don't have any more questions to Jace. Jace, do you have any questions? Do you want anything else to cover, or you think we've done anything we could, and then you're done?
I think that I think that given, you know, what we had to deal with and these incessant fabrications, I believe we've done everything we possibly could. And with that being said, I am glad to be done. If that's
all right, Neil, you want to give your word, the last word?
Yeah. So, I mean, again, we had some goals here to try to bring people together, to try to provide equal time, to try to move past the drama. I feel like we tried as hard as we could to give everyone equal time. We tried as much as we could to allow, to allow Jesse to address whatever was going on and make apologies, to allow you, Jace, to bring up anything you felt or call Jesse to account for anything that you could. I think maybe I was a little naive to think that I would have you two guys best friends at the end of this. I'm not really sure that was my goal, but I would have loved to see that happen. But I don't know that that was even possible. I hope to everyone watching that we were able to in some way provide some light to why this situation is occurring. I hope that everyone out there can make their own opinions about what they've seen tonight. I hope that in the end we can all remember that we're here to fly toys, to have a good time, to love each other, to be in the community of flying drones together. And I hope that that's what everyone can take away from this. I know that drama can be icky. It feels weird. It doesn't feel good. And our goal here tonight was to not bring more drama, but to help bring it to the light so that we could put it behind us. And I hope that we're able to do that. I really would like to see it behind us. I know that it's not possible for everyone. I know that Jesse's got some work to do, and he says he's willing to do it to continue to address these concerns. And I hope that he follows through on that. And it seems to me like he wants to do that. He's shaking his head yes right now. I hope, Jace, that you can feel like, as a representative of TinyWhoop, that you were able to give the place or space for the people that were unable to speak up in the past, have been able to speak up now. They can continue to speak up, and then Jesse is there and can see it and hope to work to address it. I know that no humans are perfect, that we all make mistakes, but we all deserve the chance to be a better human tomorrow than we were today. And I just think that's all we can ask for. So I want to thank everyone for joining in. We've had on average over 300 people watching the whole time. I appreciate everyone watching. I know that there was a watch party in Tennessee and Evansville. I know that there was a watch party in Arizona. Yeah. So a bunch of watch parties everywhere. So everybody that got together and joined and watched tonight, thank you guys for joining in. You know, I said at the very least, we're here to provide entertainment. I hope that it was somewhat entertaining. There were parts that were incredibly frustrating for me. That's just because it's icky for me to go through drama. But I hope that all of this together will help to bring the community back. And like I said, you know, we're here to have fun. We're here to fly drones. We're here to be in a community together. So thank you all for watching. Thank you for being here. Hope you have a good night. We love you all.
Johnny 5, whatever. Just, I know, John, I know your side, and I think everyone knows your side. But
Yep.
I mean, here's the thing. Like, I got some comments on maybe being biased in the comments, and like, I just don't know the story. So I'm just looking at the information that's been presented from an outsider. So I'm sure that people that are closer to the situation that have more details know more. I was thinking that we were going to see things that were more damaging to the community. So I don't want to downplay any bad experiences that individuals had, but I just didn't see the community damage. I hope that
this is the community.
Yeah.
There's just not a lot of people, you know, it's a niche. So, I mean, the people that are speaking out is the community.
Apologies that were given can be, you know, can bridge some of those gaps. And I appreciate Jace coming in at the last minute when Jeff didn't show up to be in the hot seat. And I think he did like a really good job. Like, I don't think I could have done as good of a job, like representing so many people at the same time. So props for what you've done here. And
I appreciate that.
And then, and I appreciate Jesse coming in and actually, you know, taking responsibility for a lot of things. Like, I know that was difficult to do. I don't think I could have done that as well either. I appreciate all the things that everyone in the community has done to get us to this point. And the TinyWhoop community and the racing communities are so much smaller than the FPV communities at large. And so we interact with each other, we care about each other more, and then when we hurt each other, it hurts a little bit more just because we feel that closeness. So hopefully we can bridge some of those gaps, and I appreciate the opportunity to be a part of it.
Yeah, well, first I want to say thank you to all my hosts, you know, Neil, John, thank you for being here. That was definitely a difficult thing to do. I really love having you here. And I remember someone in the chat asked what John is doing here. I don't remember who was that, but fuck you. John is here. Yeah, John is here, and John belongs here. Yeah, and for me, it provides a valuable thing. So thank you. And I really like to thank you, Jace, because I think it takes a lot of courage to come like this, especially when other people don't even want to touch it.
Do you think we should do just a separate stream real quick and do like a recap?
We can do a separate one.
I think that would be the way to do this. That way we can have people join in or whatever they want.
All right, let me build it.
Right, yes. On a live stream, that takes a lot of courage, and I think you did. At least I understood way more. I talked with you, Jason, before that. Now I understand more. What do you?
I think I'd name it TinyWhoop recap and and afterthoughts or something like that.
You want to say, but I am curious if anyone trying to guess which side I'm on. I even made a poll, but doesn't right, doesn't matter. And I wanna thank Jesse. Honestly, I did not believe that Jesse is gonna come and agree to that. And then when Neil said Jesse is on, and then Jesse made that video, I'm like, what the heck? I didn't believe until you joined 30 minutes before the live stream. I didn't believe you're gonna come. So I think it's not because I don't believe in you. We don't know each other very well, right? But it just shows, I think, also a lot of courage and, I guess, bravery that you want to show up and you know you're going to be grilled. You know you're going to get asked a lot of questions, face all that. I think that's also, I'm not sure if I would be able to do that. But yeah, I don't want to give any hints on which side I'm on, and I hope I succeeded in that. Maybe I don't even know which side I'm on. But yeah, guys, thank you very much. I apologize to all the super chats. We didn't read all of them. Apologize to all the comments. I'm sure we missed a whole ton of good comments.
Oh, there was a lot of them, yeah.
So many.
The comments, yes, the comments will be there attached to the live stream like normal. I think they're here usually like 12 hours after. But we're also looking forward to whatever Jace is going to post. The link, if he wants to do it, no pressure. If Jesse wants to post something
we
there,
haven't decided how it's going to happen, but
yeah,
you know what I mean. Like I talked about, I don't know, if we're going to do it like that or if I'm just going to give you an entire.
Some people raised, some people raised the frustration that you didn't show anything on live stream. I understand people who are frustrated with it, but also understand you because there was very short notice. It was a lot of work for you to talk to all these people, even figure out if they want to be mentioned. There was a lot of work, and I really thank you for that. And yeah, guys, I don't know. Let's try to love each other in not a sexual way, but a real love. And
what a weird way to end this.
He's broken.
Yeah, hopefully, the next Physical the T will be a little bit more fun. Because that one wasn't fun, and I'm sure it wasn't fun for anyone that participated. Jesse, again, thank you very much. Hope to see you.
Thank you so much for the platform to respond.
Yeah. Did we give the final word to Jesse already, or we done?
I think we did. This was our goodbye.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, thank you very much, man. Goodbye. And camera position does not matter.
All right, guys. Have a good day.
Peace.
All right.
Okay. Yeah, I've got a lot to comment about on this for sure. Felt like a lot of it was kind of unanswered and stuff. Yeah.
How do we close your screen?
Oh, shit, pilots.
All right. Well, what we'll do is we'll take I got it set up for 11:15, so we'll take about a 5 to 8 minute break. And,
that sounds awesome.
And everybody can go to the potty or whatever, and then we will jump back on with a new stream. It's already on my channel. Has the same thumbnail as this live stream, but it's TinyWhoop recap. So,
yeah,
all right.
Yeah, I think we should be able to share our opinions about this, and everybody should be able to join in and everything, and say what we think.
Yep. All right.
All right, guys.
Thanks a lot, Skip.
Yep. See ya.
We'll be back on. I'm not even gonna fix my camera. Not even gonna say a big hoopla about goodbyes or all of that. Just I'll catch you back in a minute. Write your questions down that you've got, and we will recap. Take care. Rise up. Meet me in the air.